We're spinning.
Yeah, it shows live on my end. What up, fools? What are you guys doing, man?
Yo.
Most underrated podcast. Dapao Antonio, Jalal the producer. We're all live here. Welcome in. What is going down, fools? Does everything sound clean? Is my audio clean?
Yep.
Good. All right.
Sounds
We're having some. Huh?
Sounds good on my end, yeah.
Okay, good. We're having some audio issues when we first got going.
Clean like you're using a bidet on your butthole.
Dad joke Dow. He's back.
Yeah.
In the flesh.
He's back.
I would ask what you guys have been doing, but I feel like everyone just knows. Everyone's just been sitting around. There's not.
Yeah.
No one's been doing anything.
Yeah.
Have you guys been finding anything to do around the house? Catching up on projects and stuff?
Well, it's funny, Jalal, that you actually mentioned that. Your boy was filling up the love tank today and doing some trim work on another room. So
indoor or outdoor?
Indoor. Yeah. I was trimming out some bathroom walls and yeah, man, just doing some 45 angle cuts, doing some grinds using the jigsaw to perfect the cuts around some of that crown molding. And yeah, stayed super busy. So I got everything done with the trim. It's all laid out. It's all cut. Now I just need to go in tomorrow and nail those bitches to the wall. And we should be good to go, man. So yeah, Robin's got projects for me every damn day. So it was either trim today or do a workout. I chose trim.
You said indoor or outdoor. Dallas, are you kidding me? Dallas isn't even stepping outside. He was trying. Tell me about your encounter with the UPS man, or tell everyone else about your encounter with the UPS man. This was not good. I mean, sometimes you just kind of lose your train of thought for a moment. I was in the zone doing the trim, and the bathroom is really close to the front door. So I heard, obviously somebody coming up, and I took Jalal's advice. Jalal's like, "Yo, man, don't go to UPS. Have them come to you, arrange a pickup." So we did that. We've been doing a lot of online orders here lately. So we bought a new Shark vacuum. And when we say we, I mean Robin, and she messed it up. She bought a super, super small one that is for like laminate floors only. And we've got like 2 dogs full of fucking hair in this house. And long story short, we had to send it back. So we arranged a pickup from UPS and taking Jalal's advice. And I just wanted to make sure everything was good. So I'm looking out the front door and he's looking at it. He's popping it into his machine, his little handheld. And he gives this like dumb look. And I'm like, oh shit. So I'm like, hey, is everything okay? Because he's also dropping off packages. And all of a sudden I look and he's got, and I'm still inside. So there's a screen door that's separating us. You're peeking out. You're standing behind the door, just peeking outside.
Yeah.
You look like one of the kids from Monsters, Inc. peering around the door.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Scared?
Dude, okay. I look like a lost dog waiting for his owner at the door. Is he here yet? Is he here yet? Is he here yet? Is he here yet? So I see this guy, and he's the great dude. He's the nicest UPS driver. He's been my driver since I've been here at Robin's house. But I said, hey man, is everything okay? I see you got 2 labels there. Are you confused? Are we good? And he's like, oh yeah, man, I think we're good. I think we're good. Wait, this don't make no sense. I said, what doesn't make any sense? And he's like, this label don't match. And I said, oh shit. So I get frustrated and I'm not thinking. I walk out there and I'm like, let me see what you got. I didn't grab the label from him. I didn't touch it. I didn't grab it. I didn't touch it. Nothing like that. I didn't look him directly in his face, where I could get spat on or, those spit bubbles would be intercepted by my eyeballs. I didn't do any of that. But I just said, yes, that goes there. That is that. And by the way, there's only 2 packages. There should be 3 that you are delivering to us. And he's like, oh yeah, man, my bad. Oh yeah. Pulls out a scanner and looks at it. He's like, oh yeah, it's still in my truck. I'll get it for you. So yeah, man, it was like my first human contact, dude, in like 2.5 weeks. And I feel like I just fucked up. I feel like I could get sick any minute.
So you went inside and you were in super anxiety mode, weren't you?
Oh, dude, you have no idea what I did.
I knew it.
I went and scrubbed my hands. I sanitized them. I washed them 2 different times. I changed my pants. I changed my shirt. I went upstairs
I've been there, dude. I think we're all just going crazy.
I know. After I and
Now
after
we're
I
all
did
don't put
this,
us don't put us all in the same box you two are in. Stop it. We're not all going crazy. You two are going crazy and want to make us all feel like we're going crazy. What do they call that? Gaslighting. So my girlfriend tells me.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you. And so then after I sanitized, dude, I washed my hands 3 separate occasions after the initial sanitization. Then I sanitized all the door handles, locks, all that stuff. Then I went and sanitized the whole kitchen because I'm like, oh shit. I know Robin's had some dirty hands in here. She'd be trying to get some of my Yoplait yogurt, my Starburst Yoplait yogurt, and I have to sanitize this shit, man. So I went all crazy, and then I went upstairs and I washed my face as well. I'm like, fuck this. I'm like, if I got spit bubbles on my face, I got to get them out before they penetrate my eyeballs, before they get in my mouth, before they get any crevices. I don't know what the hell's going on. And I freaked out. Robin was on a walk with the dogs, so I couldn't get any affirmation that, babe, it's gonna be okay. I'm freaking out, when I'm waiting at the front door, kind of like just flexing my toes, and just
flexing my toes,
the kind of nervous leg kicks, being like, all right, where is she? I need to tell her my story. I need to get this out of here. Okay, I need some affirmation. She gets back and she's like, oh, babe, trust me, you're gonna be okay. I'm like, babe, my quarantine reset all of a sudden. Now I got 14 days from right now. Mess with the UPS guy to see if I'm sick. I can't wait. It's gonna be the greatest 14 days. I'm pumped.
I knew you were gonna be paranoid. I knew you were going to be extremely paranoid when you said I walked outside. I talked to him for a second, and I knew you just went inside and wrecked yourself for the next couple hours, scrubbing and doing everything you could. Mm-hmm. Probably paranoid in your head, like, oh man, I just put us at risk, put Robin at risk, put the family at risk, even though pets can't get it. You thought you put your dogs at risk. I know you, Del. You're probably a mess in there with the anxiety.
Oh, dude, I was wrecked, and I'm
actually go ahead.
And I'm in the midst of doing all this trim, and I lost complete focus there. So I must have lost probably an hour and 10 minutes. It's the worst,
Well, going back to what you were saying in the middle there, what are you talking about? Starburst yogurt.
Let me tell you something, dude. We have been doing a lot of online orders. I think just like everybody else has. And
have you been to the grocery store at all?
Nope.
You guys haven't even been to the grocery store. You get everything delivered.
Yeah, everything.
Wow.
Everything. The only thing that we've done is we've done 2 local businesses, a pizza place called Esther's, which is like off of Colorado Boulevard and something or other. Holly and Evans over there. It's called Esther's Pizza. And phenomenal, dude. Probably maybe the second best pizza joint I've had in town. So shout out to Esther's. And we did a sick curbside there. And not only did we not even go in the fucking building, they came, brought it out to us. I opened the door from the inside and I said, yes, can you just put it there, sir? Thank you. And as they leave, then I closed the door from the inside. And then we got our package home, and we actually sanitized the package, the bags, all the styrofoam that, the stuff's coming in, or the pizza boxes in this case. We sterilize that all outside before we even bring it in. And then we give it a nice wipe down when we bring it in, and wipe down the counters in which it sat on. So are we being a little dramatic? Yeah. But we're trying to be careful. So real quick, you asked about this. I got to tell you, I'm a Starburst fan, and I don't mind the Starburst Yoplait. I think it's pretty damn good. I'm happy with it. People would be like, I don't know if that's going to work. You know what, man? When you're on quarantine, everything works, and this was super good. So I recommend it for anybody out there that is scouring the World Wide Web, maybe even some Instacart, maybe some delivery food services. Try to find some Starburst Yoplait.
So let me ask you real quick. So what are you guys doing to get all the groceries delivered? Because I'm seeing a lot of places like saying certain things are only available in store. And so are you getting everything you need via delivery? And what service are you using? Because I'm getting to that point where I need to re-up a little bit.
Well, and today was a pretty vicious day for that. So it's interesting that you asked about that. So yes, we have been getting all the goods and services that we've needed so far. And with these apps that we're using, for instance, Instacart is one of them. And actually, Instacart today, of all days, actually went on a national strike. And what they're trying to get out of the strike is they're trying to get hazard pay out of it. They're trying to get a better default cost, which I think was either $5 or 5% more. I can't remember. And then they also wanted supplies, AKA masks, sanitizer, that type of stuff, supplied to them by their work, Instacart as a company. And they went on a nationwide strike today. And the interesting thing was, Instacart, for example, is probably booked out for at least 1 week. If you can get in there, sometimes a spot will come, within 2 to 4 business days. But right now they're averaging about a week out. Now with this strike today, who the fuck knows what we're looking at? But the strike did occur today, and we were going to cancel the order because we want the Instacart people to not have to work when they're striking and trying to demand, better pay, hazard pay, supplies. Robin and I are really, really conscious of that and try to respect the nature of that. But we've had this Instacart booked for 7 days now before we could actually get this order. So we didn't cancel the order. We just thought it would be canceled automatically by the person who was delivering it. But they decided to come through, and it was $280 worth of groceries. And they came through and took care of it. And it's worked out so far. We also have a subscription to Butcher Box. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Butcher Box, but they do a lot of meats, the chickens, the beefs, the porks, and they'll send you like this big old box of just, frozen meat that you can obviously thaw out and, make that as you go. So outside of that, dude, I went to the convenience store twice, I believe, in 2.5 weeks. And both of those times I wore a mask. I had gloves on. I had the sanitizer. I didn't touch anybody. Nobody else was in the store. And that was just to get, a couple more rolls of toilet paper and a couple more rolls of paper towels. I don't think we realized how fast we go through paper towels. If you sanitize like Robin and I, because we use a lot of the spray Lysols so we can kind of save the wipes. So, man, we're running out of paper towels like it's nobody's business, way more than toilet paper. So that's kind of.
I was just going to say that, dude. We went to the store today. So basically, I got to start my 2 weeks of quarantining now. I got to, because.
Oh, jinx.
I've been going. I've been going out here and there. Like, I'm not like you. I've been getting everything delivered. I've been going out to the store here and there, whatever. Going to school.
And
obviously.
to school. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right. My mom is not playing any games. She's not super pumped about it. So I got to start staying home. Right. I got to start, because something happens to her. I need to be able to take care of her. I need to be her, my stepdad. I can't be being out in the public and then go take care of them. I just need to take care of them if something happens. So I want to self-quarantine and make sure that stuff doesn't happen. And like I said, I don't want to have that issue. So as far as my school goes, I don't know what's going on tomorrow for them. I haven't got an email or anything, but if instructors can't teach from home, I'm out, like I'm gonna have to be out for a little bit. That's just what it is.
Right.
But I was saying, what I was going to ask is, I was at the store today. So I'm getting this whole thing, the self-quarantining going and making sure that I'm staying away. And today I get to the store, no wipes, nothing whatsoever, nothing to be found. What was that site, Jalal, that you brought up on the last cast? That you can get wipes and masks and all kinds of stuff?
There isn't wipes, but
there's no wipes. Okay.
For masks.
So I'm still in trouble there.
And I think there was sanitizer. There's not sanitizer anymore, but it's called vitalsupplyshop.com. The main thing is masks, really. Masks.
Okay. Masks,
yeah, there's no wipes, but.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So you guys were wiped out at the grocery store, like completely?
I see what you did there. Nice one. Wiped out. Good one.
I didn't even. No,
yeah, right, bro. Dad joke Dow and dad joke Jalal.
That was.
So would you say they were wiped out over there at that King Soopers?
Well, because I need a few too. I'm down to like my last bottle here, and I thought I had a decent amount, but we're just going through them so fast.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly my point. And we're going through them faster because, dude, we use them to pick up, like, if Benny pees, or, you know what I mean? Like, we're using them to pick up dog messes on the floor. We're using them to wipe up stuff, all, our counters. We use them a ton way before this. So it's just very inconvenient now that everyone went and nabbed them all up. What'd you say, babe? We have what? Yeah, we've been using spray and paper towels, but you know what I mean? The wipes are The wipes are nice. It's just easy to rip and go.
John King says, "Dude wipes are back in stock." LOL.
I was gonna get to some comments.
Are they antibacterial or anti?
No. They're just like the Cottonelle wipes or any kind of flushable wipe like that. Yeah, you're not trying to be antibacterial on your butthole.
Hey, they said the Rona has been found in. Did you see the statement from New York? I don't know if it was the government or something. They said no butt munching, no eating ass during this time because Corona has been found in fecal matter.
Wow.
I did see that.
Like,
yeah. I let Robin know that that doesn't apply to us, but it does apply to New York.
Wow. That's classic. Funny stuff. I don't let me see. Going through the comments. What up, everybody in the chat?
Conley says $1.99. He says I can get a gallon of hand sanitizer tomorrow. Where are you getting it from, Conley? Who's selling it by the gallon?
Yeah, Conley, we need links. And by the way, here's your
tomorrow.
And here's your symbol.
That symbol is so weak.
Oh, that's tight.
The cutoff symbol is hilarious. Oops, I just moved my headphones around. I just felt a jerk, so let me know if you guys hear any squeaking or I need to readjust. Sorry. No, I'm having headphone issues this week. Who met first, Dow and Thomas or their ladies? No, definitely Dow and Thomas. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sure. We've known each other a decade plus, guy.
Mm-hmm.
Can I Instacart a Dang Bros shirt? Dow, flexing the Dang Bros shirt on the cast. I'm still waiting for mine. That's tight. I don't even have one.
Here, I'll just we'll just borrow this one. I'll make sure to sanitize it real nice for you guys. We'll just rotate it.
Phil Beast, I'm with you. Can I Instacart a Dang Bros shirt? I would like to do that.
Conley sent me a picture. He said it's at his local grocery store. So hit him up if you need a gallon of sanitizer.
Weird. Weird.
And like a big vinegar bottle. It's weird.
Dude, did you guys see Joe Diffie passed away? R.I.P. to Joe Diffie. Somebody said in the chat.
Yeah, I did.
You know Joe Diffie, Dallas? I know from Kansas. You got to know Joe Diffie.
I know a little Joe Diffie. That's for sure, man.
You know Pickup Man?
That's his biggest, right? And then that's the one he talks about
Pickup Man.
Yeah, is that the one where he talks about the John Deere Green, or is that a different song? I can't remember. I get confused.
John Deere Green, is that Joe Diffie?
I think so, isn't it?
Wait, that's what I know. John Deere Green, Joe Diffie. Hold up, Joe Diffie.
I'm pretty sure that's.
Dude, you might be right, Dal.
I think it's the John Deere one is the one I'm really familiar with. If that's Joe Diffie. Now, wait. I don't like to be fact checked, but I am from Kansas and I should know that.
Is it he did, bro. John Deere Green.
There you go. Yep.
On a hot summer night. That one? Mm-hmm. Oh, you got Billy Bob loves Charlene.
I gotta sit this one out, fellas.
Oh, come on, dude. You don't know that? You don't know Billy Bob loves Charlene?
I can't say that I do, no.
Oh, bro. You gotta get that one. You gotta go to YouTube and check that one out after the show. Check out Pickup Man.
I need the Joe Diffie playlist. I need the Joe Diffie Essentials collection.
Did you know he passed away, Jalal?
I actually did see that, but I don't know who he is.
Wait, Jalal, stop it real quick. Let me run this down really for a second. A couple months, maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, you tell me you didn't know Eminem dropped a new album. He's surprised dropped a new album, Music to Be Murdered By on everyone. And I tell Jalal, he's like, oh, what? I didn't even know. And he's like, I'm not in a spot where that stuff comes up on my timeline. But Joe Diffie passing away somehow appears on your timeline.
Well, the common denominator is coronavirus. Anything coronavirus is popping up on my timeline, of course.
All right. I'm just trying to instigate and start some shit.
Eminem, that
is funny, though. That is really fun. That's funny to me that Eminem doesn't pop up and Joe Diffie, you get wind he passes away. Eminem drops a full album, not a single, not a Godzilla challenge. He drops a full album, and it's nothing. It's a fart in the wind to you. It's like maybe it gets around to you, maybe it doesn't. You know.
Hey man, that's the times.
Not dust in the wind. Not dust in the wind, but a fart.
Yeah. That's Weird Al.
Dude, Joe Diffie had that. Dude, he had 13 albums and more than 20 top 10 hits to his credit, dude. You know what I know mostly about Joe Diffie is the mullet and mustache combo. I don't think anybody did it better. I don't think there's a better. I don't think there's a better combination in this world. You know, Tiger King definitely has a nice mullet, but the mustache just isn't there. You know, you can't make up with it with a bunch of earrings because the mustache. Joe Diffie's was thick.
It was, dude. That era of country, I love that era of country. I love that early 90s to mid 90s, maybe even a little late 80s in there era of country. Me and my lady been riding around, just trying to get out the house. We've been taking the dog to the park and just doing different things, get out the house, get a little exercise. And we've been just listening to like a lot. Well, I don't know if she really wants to or not, but I just been listening on Sirius. They have like a whole collection starting at channel 55. It's the Garth Brooks channel. And then it goes for like 10 channels from there. And it's just a ton of old country like that. Not like super old twangy country, but like that late 80s, early 90s to mid 90s country, this Joe Diffie era, that mullet era, that Jeff Foxworthy type of country, that whole era.
Alan Jackson. Alan Jackson.
Yeah. And not that Jeff Foxworthy was a country artist, but I'm just saying like when he came out with that redneck comedy and all that whole, what was his whole saying?
What?
You might be a redneck. That's what it was. And he had all those jokes. It was like your mama jokes with those. You might be a redneck if you and your dog both use the tree at the corner. Stuff like that. You might be a redneck if your wife says, "Baby, come move this transmission out the tub so I can take a bath." That kind of shit. Real redneck.
There you go. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I was just trying to think of some of Alan Jackson's. What was his? A little bit of little bit of love, something like that.
A lot about living and a little about love. That's what it is. That's Chattahoochee guy. Way down yonder on a Chattahoochee. Yeah, it gets hot.
Yeah, same era though. Right?
Same shit.
Yeah, that same.
Alan Jackson, that era. Yeah.
You know what's crazy?
All that stuff. Brooks and Dunn, dude.
He was only. Oh yeah, Joe Diffie was only 61, so I haven't seen any underlying issues or complications that he's had in the past. I'm sure he hit it hard as he toured and all that type of stuff, but I can't really find any underlying issues, or at least they haven't been discussed quite yet. But I'm thinking 61. Damn, that's young, dude.
I was going to ask if you knew the cause of death. I hadn't seen.
It just says it came out and said complications due to coronavirus. So that's what they've said so far.
Saw Joe a few years back. He brought all the Cougars out. A dream come true for a 23-year-old me at the time. Taylor Toadvine in the chat.
Nice. Best comment so far.
Way to add to the combo, Taylor. I like it. Gosh. Daniel Simpson, how are the weed dispensaries there? Are they open? Yeah, dude, everything's open like normal. It's just I think you have to do like curbside pickup. A lot of these places you can just order online and then just go pick it up, and they're just doing curbside pickup, just like that.
Dude, it was hilarious how quickly Colorado did the 180. Like they announced that the dispensaries were not essential, and the alcohol
liquor stores,
and like literally an hour later, I think even less than an hour, they did a complete 180 and was like, all right, as long as you guys follow the correct protocol, like you guys can stay open. It's crazy.
Well, it's funny because I was talking to Robin about that yesterday. Not only that they changed their mind so quick to add to your point, but the other side is, let's talk about liquor, not necessarily weed, but liquor. I mean, there's people out there that kind of depend on liquor and, that are AKA alcoholics, right? So if they just stopped drinking out of the blue and wasn't able to get what they needed, well, then you'd have people that have to go to the emergency and go to the hospital for other reasons than Corona. And I think there's a little bit of play with that as well. But I think at the end of the day, I think they saw how busy and how crazy and how chaotic these lines were. And then within an hour, like you said, or hour or two, you know, it was all of a sudden gone from non-essential to essential. So we just had some dialogue around that.
That would have been
found
the
that interesting,
dumbest.
but
That would have been the dumbest thing that they ever could have done. Either of those businesses, cutting off weed or alcohol, or both. The dumbest thing ever. People would have rioted. People would have been people would have been looting, breaking into every alcohol store and dispensary and selling it on the black market. People that own the dispensaries would have just turned to the streets and been like, okay, just started selling it in the black market. It's insane.
Right.
They didn't think of all this before they did that. And they probably did afterwards, or maybe they didn't even get to those points. They just thought, oh no, the people are going to freak out. But those businesses, dude, that would have been an absolute nightmare from every angle. No matter how you
like if you're trying to get people to stay home, you want them to have something to keep them entertained, or like, you know, so they're not thinking about going out into the streets and rioting, like you said. So it's kind of weird they didn't think of that in the beginning.
Right. And you want people to stay home. That's the whole thing. Like, this gives them weed, alcohol, it gives them incentive to just stay home, to chill out, do whatever, you know, however they medicate, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
What was I going to,
So I guess, what was the conclusion with the Instacart thing? Cause, you know, as you guys know, I guess the people in the listeners don't know that I sold my car, so I need to get some here pretty soon.
You were telling me, his broker, dude, he got you in the broker game. How was the experience from someone that's thought about using a broker?
It was great, man. I don't know if it's like this with all of the brokers, but I know Dow's guy. He came down to my house. So before all the Corona stuff, he picked up the car and he was like taking it around to different dealerships. And so he showed a bunch of people. He got a couple offers, came back with the best one, dropped the car back off. And then he's basically just said, hey, whenever you're ready, if you like the offer, let me know. We didn't talk for maybe like 2-3 weeks. And then once this Corona stuff hit, I was like, it doesn't really make sense for me not going out every day to have this car payment. You know, I had gotten a brand new car last May, and it was just another monthly payment. And I was like, I'm really not going anywhere for the foreseeable future. I wasn't all that happy with the car. It was a 2019 Honda Accord. It was cool. It was a good car, but I was just like, man, if I'm paying this much, you know, I'd rather get something nicer. So I contacted him again, and I was like, yo, I think I'm ready to just, you know, get rid of the car. He came by, picked it up, signed a couple papers, and man, it was one of the best experiences that I've had with cars. I didn't have to go see any car people. I didn't have to negotiate a whole lot. And I think for the car buying experience, it'd probably be a lot better because, you know, you don't have to deal with those guys in negotiating the sale price. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
That's tight, dude. I'm glad I could recommend you. I'm sure there's shitty brokers out there. There's good brokers, just like great salesmen and shitty salesmen out there. But when you find a good broker that really just kind of rolls out the red carpet in terms of brings everything to you, takes everything from you, where you're not having to go waste your time in offices. And then when you go to dealerships, I know you all you fools in the chat, everybody has probably gone to a dealership. And it's like this back and forth fucking game that is absolutely atrocious because not only does it take time out of your life, but it also is like this, you know, who has the bigger dick? That's really what this is. It's like, well, hey, you know what? We can go ahead and do this, go ahead and initial here, and then I'll take it back to my finance manager and then we'll see what we can do. And it's like this back and forth, who has the bigger dick? And it's like, dude, I really don't have time for this. It is so damn easy to get frustrated in a dealership. Like, I don't want that. And don't get it twisted. Then they're trying to sell you services, service plans, and then get you details and get all this other stuff that you add on. You're like, damn, dog, this is a brand new car. Like, let me just take it and get out of here. That'd be sweet, right? And a broker, especially a good one like mine, he brings all the cars to you. You literally text him the night before and say, hey, dude, I'm looking for this car, you know, brand new, this car with this amount of miles, this color, this model, this trim package. And my broker usually has it within 24 to 48 hours and brings it to you. You take possession of it for 24 hours. Make sure you like it. Make sure you put some miles on it. Take it to the mountains real quick. Get it back down. Get the grocery getter Travis Scott's on, take it to the grocery store, load it up, put the dogs in it, and then give the car back and say, you know what? I do like this car. I want this color. And it's like, no big deal. You know, they're just like, cool, we're here to please you. You got it, man. Because they know that they're going to eventually get that sale. And brokers really just depend solely on referrals. Like any broker that you're going to talk to that is still a broker, has been in the game for, 5-10 years, usually a pretty lengthy tenure. And dude, they take care of their people, and it just saves you so much time and energy that you could expel and never ever get back, and then just feels like a shitty experience. So I'm glad it worked out, Jalal. That's super tight. Feel free, man. Make me an offer on my Subaru. It's anything's
Yeah, I was
for
telling
sale.
you, dude.
You know?
I just need basically a grocery getter. So, even though you got that
Dude,
cigarette smoke aroma in there, it might be
Yeah.
good enough to just get me to the grocery and back.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can use my little scooter as well. It maxes out at about 18 miles per hour. So if you want to borrow that too, you can do that. My little electric scooter.
That's not bad. I'm just down the street from the grocery store.
Yeah, it's way better gas mileage. I'm just saying.
I've never been in that Forester. Was that thing, was the smoke smell worse than the pine greens that I got from Goat?
No.
Is it equal,
those pine
or is
green,
it worse, or is it better than that?
The thing is, the pine greens are on your
say-
feet, right? And the car,
Right.
it's like you're just kind of stuck in this car if you're not. You got to roll all the windows down.
But sitting in the car with the
Mhm.
windows up, driving around, or putting your face into the pine greens and smelling them, which one is worse, or are they equal?
Pine greens are worse.
Okay.
Pine greens.
Well, wait.
And
Did you
actually,
drive
so
around with
Robin
the windows up?
No, we had the windows down.
I've had to drive it all winter, and yeah, it's not the greatest, but Robin's turned me on to something. Have you ever heard of charcoal bags, where they're these bags that have charcoal pieces in it, and what it does is the energy is absorbed by like sunlight, so then you can kind of charge them up, and then you can put them in your car or home or room or office, whatever, maybe even in your shoes, something that has odor that you don't want. These charcoal bags can absorb that and take that out. So I've had these charcoal bags that I rotate in the Subaru, and it makes a whole hell of a lot of difference. I'm just saying.
That's funny that when
just
you
trying
were
to teach you
thinking
guys
about
something.
when you were buying the car, did you know the smoke smell was bad?
No.
You didn't even think about it. It's
well,
funny because
yeah,
you're an over evaluator. You over evaluate everything usually. Like you're very thorough, especially when it comes to this kind of thing.
Dude, smoke smell is pretty easy to cover up for about 24 to 32 hours. After that, there's nothing you can do. They have what they call a bomb, like a detailer's bomb that they can drop in there. That is probably your best way of clearing out smoke within a used car. But eventually that fades, and if you smoke in your car even once, you're going to smell it. It's just what it is. And it's the most difficult thing to get out of anything. But, there's tips and tricks that you can do along the way. But unfortunately, he covered it up pretty well. And I was baited and switched.
Dang.
Is what it is.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at that, but that sucks.
That fool wins. I lose.
Hey, I didn't know either when the pine green showed up. You and I were both like, "Yo, what is going on with these things? These are
I'm surprised they didn't have to disclose that in the defects.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, they should have had to write that in the details as a defect for sure.
For it's not visual, but that's
still
that's almost worse than having a damaged box or something.
Right, and then. But I did wash them. They're good to go now. They're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything's good. They're 100% good now. But I did the washing machine, the laundry system rejuvenator, and it works. It worked good.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's, even if you don't have that, you could throw your shoes in a pillowcase, tie the end of it, and you're good to go.
That's dope.
I always put some shoe trees in it. If it's Ultra Boost, it doesn't matter, or NMDs. Mm-hmm. But if it's a leather shoe, throw some shoe trees in it. If it's like a Jordan 1 or a 3 or something, so it doesn't, just the shape doesn't get too messed up. throw some shoe trees, take the lace. I always take the laces out. I kind of wash the laces first. I just put a bunch of soap in my hand with the laces and kind of wash them like this first, wring them out, and then I throw them in the washer or in the pillowcase separately.
I think that's a good TikTok tutorial for you to do.
Oh,
I think you need to get that video for the people. Yeah.
How to clean your sneaks on the budge?
Exactly.
All right. Or with everything you have in your house. How about like that?
Yeah.
How to clean
Yeah, I
your
like that.
sneakers with everything you already own.
There you go.
Nice. Nice. What was I gonna say? Oh, Khabib. The fight. I was gonna talk to Ed and see if Ed wanted to come on, but as far as this going down, so for people that don't know, UFC 249, Dana White's been pushing that this is going to still happen. This is going to go down April 18th, no matter what. The fight's been canceled too many times. The show must go on, which I kind of understand that to a point, but we're in a serious time here and everyone else is shutting down. So I told you guys, I think they should cancel the fight regardless. Well, Khabib Nurmagomedov is now stuck in Russia. They've closed their borders. He was over in Russia and he's stuck there, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
So he's not making the fight. But UFC, Dana White and the UFC are saying that they're now looking for alternative opponents for Tony Ferguson. So this guy can't make the fight. They're still trying to make it go off now. That just seems, I don't like it. I don't like it. Why are they trying to push so hard? Are they trying to be the first ones to be like, we are bringing sports back, or like, what is the deal here? Is it ego? What is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's ego. I think Dana's probably trying to be a man of his word. And, if he doesn't do this based off of all the interviews that he said, like life or death, we're doing this fight. This fight needs to happen. This is going to be the fifth time that this doesn't happen. But now, I think that if Khabib is out, there is absolutely no reason for this. This fight needs to just needs to be pushed away.
The whole card, right? Not just this fight, the whole card.
The whole card. Just get the hell out of there. If you can't have your main event, your main two top contenders, arguably in their division, aside from Justin Gaethje, which now they're trying to get Justin Gaethje to step in and fight Ferguson. That is the latest with this Ariel Helwani. He actually just posted that this morning, saying that the UFC is seeking Justin Gaethje to step in and fight Ferguson to keep this card going. Now, that wouldn't be a bad fight. That would be an awesome fight. But I think the main headliner, the reason that we all wanted to see this now for the fifth time, it is not going to happen. I think the stress of the fight, everything, we just need to pull the plug. That's my opinion. Now, I don't have any money built into this. You're not going to have any fans in the arena. I just think, hey, man, like, what is it going to take to call this thing? Like, your main guy, the guy who holds the belt, the champion of that division, Khabib, can't fight. So what the hell is the point now? We don't have any audience. We don't have any participation. We're having to get referees out there. We're putting lives in danger. You've got travel restrictions, travel bans. Like, damn, man, take something from the Olympics for God's sakes. Maybe try this card next year. Try this card in 10 years when these guys are grayed out and aren't going to be worth a shit. Then let's see this. But I don't know, man. This gives me a bad taste for the UFC. That's what I would say.
Yeah, just exactly my point. Makes no sense to me. I wasn't a fan of it in the beginning, why they were pushing so hard. Now it really makes no sense why they're pushing so hard. Or have you seen who the opponents they're talking about? Have you seen any names floated out there? I haven't. I was just wondering.
Well, like I said earlier, they're trying to. Ariel Helwani reported that Justin Gaethje is who the UFC is targeting.
Oh, that's the only name.
Fight Ferguson.
No one besides.
That is the only one. That's the only one that's really been thrown out there yet. Now, I'm sure they're working their asses off and they have some names, but I think that's the only one that really hit the public so far.
You guys don't think that Khabib could get out of Russia? I mean, he couldn't take a PJ out of the country or get some type of, I don't know, some type of, what would you call that? Like an exception from Russia?
That's a good point. I don't understand that. That doesn't, I mean, that is a great point, Jalal. I don't understand. That doesn't. Yeah, I don't see why not. No, I don't understand. I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do that, especially
something this big. I mean, he's not just like a regular dude trying to get out of the country. I mean, he's
right.
got an obligation to UFC. I know they could get somebody else, but it just seems like they could make an exception for him. Not that that's a good idea. I'm just saying, like, in his case, you would think he would have more options.
It says, here's a quote from Khabib. We were training. We were in training without any information regarding the fight, where or how it was going to happen. We were told, UFC told us that this fight would 100% not happen in the States, but they said 99% that it will happen in Emirates or Abu Dhabi. After talking to UFC, we decided to fly over to Emirates for a month before the fight. I don't remember the exact date, but it was the 19th or 20th. I'll have to check. But when we landed in Emirates, we learned that they're going to close the borders and no one will be able to fly or leave with the exception of the residents. So we had to fly back to Russia. Currently, I am in Dagestan and I'm training and preparing every day. Although I don't know what I'm preparing for, because after we came to Russia, we also learned that the borders are going to be locked, same as in the States, same as in Europe, Emirates, everywhere. The whole world is on quarantine right now. So now I am hearing that they're looking to organize the fight with or without me. Okay, go ahead. Everyone should follow the laws. I'm not against it. I know fighters need to feed their families and pay their bills, he continued. I know how hard it is for the fighter. Unless they fight, they aren't getting any money. I am even hearing that they're looking for an opponent for Tony because he is in the States and I am here in Russia. But I am not here on my own will. End quote. So that's all he said. That's his whole statement, or through his translator, and that's the entirety of it. So he doesn't really answer any. There's nothing like that that's really brought up. It just kind of ends at the borders are closed. I'm stuck. And maybe his people tried behind the scenes. Right. Maybe they tried to talk to someone. Who knows? But that's a great question, Joel. That's a good point. But would it be okay? Let me flip this really quickly. If it was Tony Ferguson, and when the fight is over there where he's at, or the fight was to take place somewhere, would the U.S. allow Tony Ferguson to go to that fight? Are they going to allow him to fly out?
Yeah, I guess it just
would they
depends
let him
on
back in?
The receiving country. If would they let him back in? Exactly. Because maybe they'll let him leave, but not come back in. And maybe that's Khabib's concern as well, if Dagestan is his home.
Yeah. Because I think right now, if you fly like cross country at least, or to another country, I think the protocol is you have obviously the check after you get off the flight. They scan you, they do all that stuff, and then they put you in a separate isolation area. Most countries are putting people in hotels, so like you're in a hotel of sorts for at least 14 days for that isolation period. And then there's protocol after that. So there's a lot to it. And I think even if you're taking a PJ, you're still going to have some sort of isolation and protocol either before that, after that, during that. There's a lot to it. And, I don't know, man. I think there's just a lot of miscellaneous things that they have to figure out. And to me, it just doesn't make sense. But if you got money like the UFC does and needs to maintain and make more money, you can probably do whatever you want.
Yeah, like if the UFC is so dead set on having this fight, have the fighters fly out to wherever the location is, 14 days, quarantine in the gym, whatever they got to do, train, and fly back when they're done and quarantine again. I mean, if UFC is pushing so hard for this, I just feel like they should be trying to pull some strings, but it just seems like they're trying to get another fight going.
Well, if it's in Emirates or Abu Dhabi, how is Tony Ferguson getting there anyway? I guess I'm confused on how he's even getting out. Is the U.S. letting him out? He could just fly out?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the U.S. is stopping people from leaving. Because as far as I know, they're stopping people from coming in through the regular border or the Canadian border or the Mexican border. But I don't know if they're stopping people from exiting the country as well.
Yeah, I think it's just coming back in is really the bands and the things you got to watch out for.
Interesting stuff. Speaking of fights and stuff like that, you were asking me, you're like, yo, is WrestleMania next weekend, Dell? And I was like, yeah, it is, but it's Saturday and Sunday, and they're doing it at the Performance Center. And I'm very confused. I'm very confused. I don't know what they're going to do to pull out, they're going to have to pull out all the stops to try to make it. I don't know, not feel weird. I guess there's just no way to not make it feel weird. It's this is the biggest event of the year. Now, not only are you making the event, or is it the biggest event of the year, you're making that big event 2 nights in a tiny arena with no people there.
Right.
It's the whole thing about WrestleMania is the spectacle of it. It's always the size of the crowds, how they take over a baseball stadium, they take over a football stadium, they take over these huge arenas, and people from all over the world transcend upon that. And it's all the aerial shots. If you watch any WrestleMania like preview, or if you've seen any recap or anything, it's all these crazy aerial shots and fireworks and the WrestleMania logo and hundreds of thousands, or not hundreds, but tens of thousands of people all over the place. And it's just really going to be very, very weird. Did you see that Reigns backed out of WrestleMania from Skinner? You said that earlier, Dallas. I was going to ask you about that. I didn't even know that. What happened? You said he's sick?
Yeah, so what he actually said, I'll pull it up here. So yeah, Roman Reigns confirms he pulled out of the title match versus Goldberg. And he basically says, because taking on Goldberg, which is the WWE Universal Championship here in Florida. And it sounds like on an Instagram post on Monday, Reigns confirmed that he did pull out of WrestleMania, but he did not specify the reason. Rather, he addressed assumptions made by the media and fans about his withdrawal. So it sounds like it was made to sound like it was health by the fans and everybody else. But he came out and said, hey, he didn't specifically say what it was. But obviously, Reigns has had past battles with leukemia, which has left his immune system compromised. And Florida is turning into a hot spot. No offense, John King. Everybody's still on the beaches acting like it's normal out there.
Is it starting to flare up out there in Florida?
Yeah, it is, because these beaches, people are still attending these beaches like it's nobody's business. And then, of course, in Florida, that's where you had a lot of these past spring breakers. So now those spring breakers that were there, we're transmitting it, and then they're bringing it back to wherever they live. Florida is slowly turning into a hot spot. And I say that in comparison to like a New York, right? New York is at its max point right now. But yeah, Florida's turning really bad all of a sudden. And I think a lot of that just has with the public just not taking it serious and just kind of still going to the beaches and not doing the social distancing. But I think this is just Roman Reigns kind of being smart and saying, look, man, I'm going to stand up for myself. I already have a weak immune system. I've battled leukemia. I fought it. I've won. I'm on the mend, and I'm not going to get coronavirus and have that damn thing take me out. That's what I think.
So you think it is health related? Did he come out and say it's health related? You said no. He didn't fully confirm that, but he hasn't denied it either. Dude, here's what I'm going to tell you. Goldberg is not the greatest guy to work with. He's just not.
Okay.
I mean, go look at the last match with him and Undertaker when he tried to get him up in a jackhammer at the end of the match and dropped Undertaker on his head. And I mean, he never was super safe in the ring anyway, but now he's old. He's not as strong as he used to be, but his character, his moveset is that of a strong guy. It's not like all of a sudden he's just going to change up his whole arsenal of moves and how he wrestles. All his moves are still power moves. You got to be strong to do that. He gets 3, 4, or 5 minutes into a match, he's already blown up. The dude's huffing and puffing, and Reigns is a bigger guy. Maybe he just felt like, I don't really feel like I'm what they're putting together, the type of match they're putting together, maybe the length. I don't really feel safe in there with Goldberg. Do you think that's a possibility at all?
For me, you would know better than I would with like kind of the history and how he does. But I would say, yeah, I mean, you sold me on that. That makes sense.
Dude, I'm watching the other night, I'm watching the Stone Cold. It's called Broken Skull Sessions, dude. Remember how we were doing sneaker sessions? He just came out with a new show called Broken Skull Sessions, biting our shit. God damn, I'm about to come out in there, open up a can of whoop ass. So he's got a new thing called Broken Skull Sessions. He's dropped a few episodes. He dropped one with Goldberg, ironically enough, but he dropped one with Bret the Hitman Hart recently. It just came out. It's on WWE Network. If you have a subscription, you can go watch it for free on there. Obviously, everything on there is included, but it might be even on YouTube too. But he talks about, Bret Hart says they're talking about safety in the ring and, you know, guys that you worked with that were unsafe or whatever. And Bret Hart singles out Goldberg and said he was single-handedly the most unsafe guy I've ever worked with in the ring, ever. And really? From a Hall of Famer, from a legend like Bret Hart. And Bret Hart said multiple times in the interview, he reiterated how safe he was in the ring, how he never hurt anybody in the ring. He's never caused any injuries, serious injuries to anyone in the ring. He's always kept his guys safe. And that's always something he's prided himself on as a wrestler. That's how he learned. That's how he was taught. And that's part of the art of the business. It's making everything look and appear incredibly real, but still keeping the guy safe. That's what the whole art of the business is about. And a lot of that's been lost as guys like Ultimate Warrior is another one that was talked about as just being super unsafe for years. Just one of those, just these super big muscle guys that throw fools around and aren't really concerned about their safety, but they're not really in the business for the art, right? They're in the business because they're huge and pumped up. They already have the look and they want to make a ton of money and be famous and be on TV. As to where a guy like Bret Hart, he comes up, he wrestles through his dad's wrestling school. He goes through a whole, you know, the lineage is there. So I would say, I don't know what it is.
That's interesting.
But it's interesting that he backed out at this point.
That's a great take because Roman Reigns still has, you know, he still has a career. I wouldn't say Goldberg doesn't, but if we compare the two, Roman Reigns should have a longer career for at this point. And that makes sense, obviously, with his leukemia. And then if Goldberg's not safe and Roman doesn't feel safe, and then the storyline's not that great, which we don't know yet, that would make total sense. Did you see who is replacing Roman Reigns?
No. Oh,
he's reportedly going to be replaced by Braun Strowman.
Who was Braun Strowman? And who is he on the card set to face? Do you know?
I don't.
They have to move some stuff around with him.
Yeah, so it sounds like they did
maybe
that.
Skinner
and
knows.
Then maybe Skinner knows. But check this out. So there's also multiple reports that other wrestlers, including The Miz, Buddy Murphy, Dana Brooke, and also Rey Mysterio, are all currently under self-quarantine due to illness, and are all supposedly going to miss WrestleMania. So whether it's coronavirus or not,
or they're in a situation like me where they got someone they need to take care of, they're going to be around somebody with a compromised immune system. That's why I'm choosing to stay in and self-quarantine and make sure that I can still bring groceries to those that I need to, or whatever, you know, whatever, you know, get stuff for people. I don't want to be, man, that's crazy. I wonder, makes you really think.
There's a lot of, well, and just having like an empty arena, like that's never really been done. I mean, obviously here, the SmackDowns and some of these shows here lately, where, what was it on 316 day or either the day before or the day after that, where Stone Cold is in an empty arena. It's already been weird, but to have a WrestleMania where it's wrestling is really crowd dependent. I really think, you know, you were kind of explaining me how people obviously change. What is what's the name of the heel? Is it a heel?
A heel, yeah.
When they turn a heel. So when a good wrestler, I have in quotations,
a good wrestler is a baby face. The baby face turns heel.
And then they turns heel, and then the crowd like literally turns against them. Like that's a big factor in wrestling from what you were kind of telling me about. So to have an empty arena, to having people pull out, to having, again, just like Khabib and Ferguson, you know, we have one of the bigger matches with Roman Reigns and Goldberg now going awry. It's just, man, it just doesn't make sense.
It just really cracked me up when you said Hill, because I have been around people in my life.
Heel.
I know instead of saying like heel, they'll say Hill, or instead of saying deal, they'll say deal. Oh yeah, that's a good deal.
I do the same thing. That's me.
Do you say dill?
I think so, dude.
I don't really catch it from you a ton. I catch it from a lot more of like my Hispanic homies. Like, oh, that shit. Oh yeah, that's a good deal.
That's a good deal, fool.
Yeah, it's more. You know what I'm talking about, Jalal.
I know what you're talking about. Are you sure they're not talking about their favorite pickles?
No, but I always like talk some shit. I always try to like trash them, and they don't even get it. They're like, what are you talking about, fool?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's funny.
Skinner says, I don't think Strowman has a match on the card before this. He just dropped the belt to Sami Zayn.
Oh, Sami Zayn.
Is that how you say his last name?
Zayn.
My bad.
Yeah. Dude,
I'm just getting into wrestling, fellas. Relax.
I haven't, dude. You were telling me the WWE news today. I haven't followed WWE at all lately. I've been watching some old shit on the network, like running down some of my old time favorite WrestleMania matches to my lady. Like, hey, babe, check this match out. This is WrestleMania 17, Hardy Boys versus Dudleys. And this is WrestleMania 17, The Rock versus Stone Cold. That shit's another classic match. But yeah, just running down old matches, and then she can only handle so much wrestling too. But other than that, it's AEW heavy. It's AEW heavy. That's it.
Sure.
Not WWE at all.
Well, did you know right now, I believe it's for 30 days, they're doing the WWE Network is the only place to stream WrestleMania for free and enjoy thousands of hours of video on demand. They have a free trial that you can sign up for right now, actually. So that's kind of why I was asking you some of these things, kind of seeing if it was worth signing up. And then I can cancel because I'm not that big into it. But like watching my first legit WrestleMania, I don't think this is the first one to watch. This is gonna be a pooper, I think.
I know, dude. I feel bad too. And they're running down. Have you seen on ESPN? They're running down all those full WrestleManias. They're playing like old WrestleManias from.
I was watching 32 last night.
Right. Oh, it's just gonna be, man. It's gonna be interesting. There are some matches I want to see, but I wanted to see the AEW show more. Blood and Guts that they just canceled. Tony Khan just came out because they've been running AEW every Wednesday, the normal night. AEW Dynamite's on Wednesday nights on TNT. And he came out and said, yo, this is not going to end up being the show that we wanted to give you guys. So we're not going to do it right now.
Really?
So they totally postponed their pay-per-view.
Wow. And are they still doing on their weeknights? Are they still doing no crowds, obviously?
Yeah. Yep. It's shot in really tight with just the wrestlers and the background, like the AEW kind of backdrop there.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. It's not the same show either.
I was going to say, does it take anything away from you? But you're still
it's definitely is different. I'm still tuning in. Yeah. Cause they have good wrestling. That's the thing. The wrestling is really what drives AEW. Great wrestling.
Yeah,
that's totally what matters. So that's why I'm tuning in,
Right.
Neighborhood says the Verizon FiOS installer wouldn't come into my house. He set up the router through my window and snaked the Ethernet cable through the basement window. Shake my head. That sounds like me if I was working for Verizon or any of those type of technician jobs right now. I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna just feed this through the window, plug it in, let me know how it's working.
Yeah, I don't want no cookies. I don't want no tea. Don't give me anything here. Just catch this. Here, just catch this.
You would have quit for sure, Jalal. You wouldn't have made it, bro.
But I was thinking, everybody that managed to get on somebody's payroll just before this stuff happened, like, man, you guys are so lucky. Because I mean, if I think
they're paying,
not gonna, like T-Mobile and stuff, like those guys aren't gonna be like firing people. They're gonna figure it. So if you manage to get on somebody's payroll just before this, like, what great timing.
Yeah, I was trying to, but I was a little late with the PGA store.
Well, dude,
So I'm
to
gonna
get unemployment, I think you have to be employed for 6 months anyway. So if you had just got on, you couldn't get unemployment. Like if you had only been on 2 months or a month, whatever, you'd have to be, because Mia, my lady, when she signed up, she was just past the 6-month mark because she started that new job.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I wonder how that would have
Dang.
worked. I don't know. Even though she had a job before for years or whatever, at that job, moved to another job. If she wasn't there 6 months, she would have been in some kind of limbo where we'd had to deal with the whole bunch of nonsense. So thank goodness she was there more than just over 6 months, dude.
Interesting. Huh. Check out Justin Cred in the comments. So glad Jalal's on these hangouts. Who would have ever known what beautiful green hazel eyes this man has? It's
Oh
like
my
he's
God.
looking into our soul when he talks in the hangout. Hashtag the man behind the cam.
That's hilarious. Thank you.
Wow.
Justin.
Oh,
God.
That's a great
dang.
comment.
who would
Wow,
have known?
jeez. I feel like my love tanks filled through
I'm
you,
surprised you
Jalal.
could see the
Jeez,
color of
that's-
my eyes through this chat. It's kind of crazy. I have hazel eyes.
Dang. They're looking into his soul, so watch out.
Dustin Skinner says Verizon just announced that they're going to pay a higher rate for hours worked at the store. That's good. They should do that.
So you can sign up.
No doubt.
Is that what he's saying? You could sign up and work hours, and if you do that, you'll get paid more. If you're staying home, obviously you're just getting paid whatever they're paying.
He didn't specify, but I think like that's what we've been hearing as far as other phone stores is they're going to give you the option. Like if you don't want to work, I believe what we heard, Dallas, correct me if I'm wrong, is they're not going to get paid if they choose not to work. But if they do choose to work, then they'll get a little bit more pay. Did you hear the same thing?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I think T-Mobile, speaking with some individuals there, it sounds like they're coming up with remote where they can kind of work remotely, but I believe they don't have the technology where they can give somebody a laptop and be able to do it from their own home yet. But T-Mobile has a certain position now, and I don't know how many of them or how they're offering them, but you can actually work semi-remotely where you're in a store, but you're in the back of the store where you don't have to deal with any customers directly, any of your fellow reps or management. You're just kind of on your own computer in the back of the store with your headphones on, and you're kind of like doing customer service bullshit. You're troubleshooting phones over the phone, for these customers. So they're at least doing that on T-Mobile side, and I think they're paying time and a half on top of what you usually make hourly wise if you are working in a store having customer contact.
That's interesting, but it's like if you're in the back of the store, I don't know how much that really helps you. You're still in contact with everybody else. It just seems like it's kind of foolish. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I told Ochi, I said, if you're going to go work, Ochi, try to get on that level. That's what I told him.
They should let customers just kind of stay outside, do a little curbside action. They already have the Remos. Mm-hmm. Just be like, hey, what do you need? I'll look into it real quick. Give me some information. If they could incorporate something through the app, I mean, I just feel like these technology companies should have some type of more advanced way of dealing with customers by now.
Right.
A little curbside drop off for the devices, and
they gotta have some type of way.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta have some type of way. Ooh, let's do
Is that Joe Diffie?
It's not Joe Diffie.
Is that Joe Diffie?
Oh yeah, that's the Pickup Man remix. Some type of way, but about figuring out problems. Jalal, we should do like a funny comedy video for YouTube. Some type of way, but it's like just figuring out solutions
during coronavirus.
There's got to be some type of way, yeah, and it's all different coronavirus solutions.
Well, we're gonna have to get pretty creative here, so we're gonna have to come up with some way to start paying our bills soon.
We're gonna have to come up with some type of way. Come on, we'll start thinking. Come on, stop messing around. Get it together. Just to wrap up the wrestling convo, make sure you show your lady that Razor versus Shawn match at WrestleMania 10. Saint Skinner, definitely a classic. One of the That's like the first ladder match that really set off ladder matches right there. Oh, the Beyond the Ring Chris Benoit was awesome, but looking forward to the New Jack one coming up next, Philly Mayer. Did you guys see the Beyond the Ring, the Chris Benoit? Did you watch that yet, Dallas, at all? On Vice?
I haven't yet.
It's free. If you download the Vice app on your Apple TV, it's free. Well, it's free for the week. Ooh, that might have expired. I was trying to tell you it was free last week, bro. You might be able to find it on YouTube still. I know part 1 was for sure there. Maybe part 2 will be there now. I'm not sure. But I'm waiting for the Owen Hart one. They show the way Owen Hart died. He fell from the top of the ring, smacked his head on the ring post, and died at the pay-per-view. I'm waiting to see that one.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yep.
That's gonna be the next biggest one I'm looking forward to.
It's on YouTube, so
it is okay. Yeah. You guys can check it out on YouTube. Dallas, did you by chance see the or either of you guys, I guess, did you see the ESPN college basketball player, greatest college basketball player thing I was talking about on ESPN? How they were down to like the Elite Eight and then the Final Four, and now I think the championship is this Jordan versus Bird. That's who's
really?
left right now.
No,
you can vote on ESPN.com right now.
Just what you. Interesting. Yeah, no, just what you talked about last cast is.
Oh, you didn't see it on Sports Center or anything?
Where it stopped
Watch
for me.
Sports Center?
Dude, I haven't watched any Sports Center, dude. I've been watching like documentaries, mockumentaries. Dude, I watched Super Size Me 2. I binged Tiger King. I've been watching all the influencers to see kind of what they're doing. I'm watching a bunch of Instagram lives. I have stayed away from sports, which is crazy, but like, I don't want to live in the past. I don't like to go watch tape on a bunch of old shit. At least right now, like I want the new shit, because if I'm watching old shit, it's cool because I'm getting knowledge, but I expect to have my new shit so I can kind of compare it. But the fact that I don't have anything current makes me just kind of want to take a break, and I'll see how I feel at the end of it. But like I said, documentaries, mockumentaries, binging The Office yet again, Tiger King, all these things. That's kind of what I'm doing on this side.
I want to get to those documentaries in a second, but very quickly, I think I watch from a different perspective than what you're talking about. I'm watching these shows. I'm watching Sports Center. I'm listening to my sports talk shows. I'm listening to Rome. I'm listening to all the people I normally listen to from a standpoint of being in their shoes. What are they doing in a time like this? How are they presenting their show when there's no sports? What is Sports Center going to do? What are certain shows going to do when they have no content? I'm watching from a producer broadcaster point of view, from a behind the camera lens, as far as being in that building and how they're trying to figure things out. And especially like Scott Van Pelt. I love the way Scott Van Pelt has morphed his show, how it's Sports Center at night with Scott Van Pelt. It's his own hour-long show. I think he does a phenomenal job, from the prep he has to the interviews to keeping it different from a normal Sports Center. A guy like that, I tune in every night because I want to see what is SVP doing. Every night. I don't miss it. I don't miss an SVP. I tune in every night because I always want to see what's he doing. There's no games.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And he continues to impress me. So
what is he talking about during this time?
Dude, all kinds of stuff. He does this thing called Senior Night now, which is pretty cool. It's giving college players that season was cut short. It's giving them a spotlight, and every single night it's a different senior, and their family and friends nominate them and send them in and nominate them to be part of Senior Night. And every night he showcases a senior from a sport in college basketball. It's everything from volleyball to wrestling, football, basketball, track and field, whatever, any college sport, how their career was cut short, all the accolades, all the things that they achieved in their time at that university. It's really cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's one of the things he's doing there. He's obviously still talking. There's still sports news. You still have NFL free agency going off. You still have things happening. So obviously he's keeping you caught up on any current news, anything that has been going on. And then he'll follow the rest of the stuff with interviews. There's no shortness. Is it the word? Shortage. Thank you. There's no shortage of coaches or anyone looking to talk right now.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody can jump on Zoom or whatever the technology they're using. So that's kind of what they're doing to fill the show. So it's very interesting.
I like that idea of the Senior Night thing. We were talking earlier about other shows, Full Size Run, and I was watching Everyday Struggle, and it seems like they're just kind of figuring out ways to continue to do their show. I mean, the difference with our show is like we can't edit, So a lot of them are doing like, editing and kind of making it feel a little bit similar to how it felt before, the quarantine. So it's been interesting to see how people are adapting. It's kind of nice to have that that luxury of the editing. You can shoot it and then kind of make it look a little bit more like the show did, So that's interesting to see.
Yeah, I've been watching I think it's funny, like Barstool. I'm a big fan of Barstool, obviously. And Dave Portnoy, El Presidente. It's funny, he does his pizza reviews, every day. He goes to like, a new pizza establishment and rates, obviously, the pizza and how it is and all that. And I've been following him for a long time. And what he's doing now is he's rating all frozen pizzas. So he's having all these companies just send him shit tons of like frozen pizzas. And he's like, obviously he's changed his scale because it's hard to rate, like, it's frozen pizza. Like, you can't compare frozen pizza to real like homemade pizza that you're going to get at a restaurant, right? So he has this whole new scale that he rates frozen pizzas from. And yeah, you're right. So he videotapes that, or excuse me, he records himself on his phone, and then he sends it to one of his people, probably through Dropbox or whatever, we transfer. And then his homie actually edits all these things. And it's pretty good, right? It's not the traditional show that you're used to, but it's pretty good. And they're making things work. So, obviously he's quarantining right now and he can't do anything else. He's in the hot spot of New York. But to be able to still do pizza reviews and then send that technology to his editor or whatever, and puts these super sick edits in there, it is cool to see, man. I wish we had a little bit of, option and opportunity on that with this, but this is just to let people know, hey, we're still relevant. We're still here for you. And it's just a time to kind of give back, you know what I mean? And kind of bro out a little bit. Whereas Full Size Run is still doing some of their edits, but dog, it's trash. You'll see a lot of shows that lose a lot of dynamics, when they're not all together. And you see like these awkward pauses that Full Size Run has always been known for. And then they usually make fun of Welty and tie it up to him and say, oh, make fun of Welty. But, the dynamics vary, from show to show. And I think it's interesting watching some of these and the evolution of them, and trying not to compare them to the past, but obviously you have to. But I'm kind of like Franchise in that way. These shows that I'm used to watching, these influencers, now that they can't go to a sneaker shop every day and show a new sneaker or show what should I buy, how creative can these fools get? How good of content can these fools come up with? And I think that's what's interesting to me.
What's Tom been doing?
Oh, dude, your boy Tom Stefaniak, dude, he has been roasted in the comments here lately on his Twitter. So he's obviously lives in New York right now, hometown of Winnipeg, but he's in New York. He's been there since I think December. And his content obviously has really been going to a sneaker store, buying this sneaker just every day. I mean, he's hitting the mall like 4 days a week. Now with this, the poor guy doesn't have much content. So what he's doing is he's putting a lot of B-roll that he's previously shot when New York was live and popping. Or he'll do like super sobering, somber stuff of him on a boosted board, going through the streets where nobody's there. Now, some of that's interesting to see, but at what point are you putting yourself at risk? You could argue one point to say, well, shit, the guy ain't talking to nobody. The guy ain't close to anybody. He's on a boosted board. He's got a shit ton of air, between him and anybody else. So he should be fine, right? He should be able to do that. If we can take walks, in New York.
Those are my thoughts exactly, Dal. People on a bike, people on a booster board. What's the problem? Yeah. So
yeah, like what's the problem? But
right.
But he's getting roasted because people are just like, you need to stay home. That's non-essential. But they're saying that because he's on a boosted board versus walking. If he was walking, nobody would have a problem with it. But somebody's got something to say because he's on a board, because he's doing something that not everybody else is doing. That's maybe not traditional in a place like New York when this massive quarantine is going on. But for me, I don't really see a problem with it. If he's only doing it for a little while, he's on a boosted board. He's not stopping. He's not talking. He's not going in any establishments. I mean, what's the difference? It's a walk,
I don't see
right?
any problem with it. I see hundreds of people out here on bikes every day now. Hundreds of people on bikes riding around. It's the same thing.
Dude,
I don't see any problem with it. People want to complain to complain.
dude, in Colorado, they just started shutting down a lot of these trails now because people won't maintain social distancing on these fucking trails here in Colorado.
I think it's like there's so many people have just been telling everybody what to do, stay home, like yelling at people in the streets. Like, you don't know what people are doing, if they're healthcare workers, whatever. I just think it's kind of ridiculous to like be yelling at people and shouting at them from your windows, telling them to stay inside. Like, if people have a legitimate reason to be outside, just mind your business. But
people are doing that. People are shouting at people out the window, stay inside.
There was people chanting in like these Brooklyn apartments. They're like, flatten the curve, stay at home. I'm like, oh my God. Like, if somebody needs to go get groceries, like they're going to go get groceries. Like, relax.
Right.
Brooklyn. Yeah, I guess that's different.
Yeah.
Everyone's on top of each other all over there. Plus they have a crazy spread right now.
I'm worried about New York, man. I'm gonna be real. And I think that we're going to find out, we're saying like, all right, it's okay to go for a walk and go on a bike, but New York is just so congested that I think we're going to find out later that this thing is kind of spreading out in the air, regardless of the 6 feet thing. This is just my opinion. Don't take it as fact. But
here we go.
I'm really worried about New York, man. Very close together spaces, the subways, the trains, like people are not taking the proper precautions. I think later on we're going to find out that, this thing is in the air.
Jalal, don't tell me that, man. I just talked to my UPS guy today. It's not good.
There's something, Dallas, this should give you a little bit more relief. There's something that you should consider called viral load. That's how much of the virus you're exposed to at the same time. I think you're okay, just a couple minute interaction. I think the people that have to worry is the people that are constantly being exposed or exposed to a large amount all at once.
Break that down. What is viral load? What does that mean?
It's just how much of the virus that you're exposed to, basically. Like, you can have, say, 1,000, I don't know what the count is, but 1,000 particles, I guess, of the virus, or you could have, 1 million or a couple million. So I guess the more that you're exposed to it, the harder it is for your body to fight off the infection. And that's probably how people are dying so quickly versus maybe somebody else who may have tested positive but doesn't have symptoms, or is asymptomatic, basically, like Kevin Durant or these other guys.
Interesting. Dirty DJ said, I live down by the shore and all these PA and NY peeps have beach houses and they keep coming in droves. Have you guys heard about that? All the people that were leaving New York and they're other places, like PA, Jersey, whoever, they're trying to tell them, hey, no, you guys need to stay where you're at. Like, you don't be coming to our states. Don't be coming over here. And if you are coming over here, you guys not stay 2 weeks in quarantine right when you come over. Like, they're trying to deter people. And this is kind of, me and my uncle were talking about this the other day. It's something that this is kind of turning into. Everyone's starting to box themselves off. States, not necessarily states, but maybe states. I think that's where it's going to get to. But everyone's going to start to box themselves off and not allow, not want people in. Like, he was talking about going up to Montana to see my cousin. She lives up there. She's like, you're not coming up here. They shut this place down. There's no one coming in. There's no one going out. This is what these rednecks have been living for.
Right.
This is what they've been waiting for. They don't want anyone coming in.
Those are the perfect places to be, man.
Lock it down.
You got a little bit of land, like a big open space. Like, that's the ideal place to be. A place like New York, not where you want to be during a time like this. Everybody's on top of each other. You got, people to the left and right of you in these small apartment buildings. And I think at some point, New York is going to have to go on a full shutdown where people are not able to leave once it starts getting a little crazier. And that's where it gets scary.
That's what Florida is trying to tell tri-staters that are coming down here from Anachoff. I'm coming to Colorado, spending 2 weeks in Dal's doghouse. Fail beast.
Come on through. We'll make you a specific quarantine spot. There was an actor. I think he's on that TV show Amsterdam. It's a hospital movie or a hospital show. I don't know. Kind of like ER was back in the day. You remember ER back in the day? My mom used to be tuned in to ER. But this guy, he was in New York shooting for this show, and somehow got coronavirus, right? And then he self-quarantined not only in his house, but a specific room within his house. And his whole family, he's got like a few, 2 or 3 kids. He had his wife, and I think he had maybe even a like his mother or his wife's mother that was living there, same house. He quarantined himself into a single room. Nobody in the entire family got it. So, quarantine does work, even if it's in your own house. So Fail Beast, you always have a place here, my friend.
Philly mayor. This is what I was talking about. In Rhode Island, they're stopping people with NY plates and making them stay for 14 days. Also going to people's houses that they see NY plates. That's crazy. Wow. Then, yep. Dirty DJ. Florida's doing it. They have checkpoints and are quarantining New Jersey peeps for 14 days if they enter. This is where it's going. Everyone's going to start locking themselves down. Because, dude, even when I turn on the news, which I rarely do, but I like to, I try to do a little bit every day because I like to get a little bit of news, like to read a little bit, watch a little bit, just a few different sources. So me and my lady, we turn on the news, and when I turn that on, I never hear our local news discussing about the national spread. Mm-hmm. It's always the local. It's always the local count. It's always what's going on here. And I get it, they're local news, but I feel like that gives us more of only like this is what's going on here type of feel. In some places, right. If you're in South Dakota, it's not that bad here. If they're local news doing the same kind of thing, they're still just living the same kind of life because it's not that bad here. And that's how everyone's been treated. It's not that bad here. It's not that bad here until it's too bad there.
I think that's why there's so many people looking at it differently, is because everybody's in their own bubble. Like if you're in a place where the infection is low, or, you're not having any contact with people that are infected, or you don't know anybody personally, it's not as real to you. Whereas in some of these other places, it's a lot more real. So I think that's kind of why everybody's creating their own bubble of what's going on.
Dal, do you actually, let me hit this comment really quick and then we'll jump into some sneakers. Specs BV, this is good. I probably missed any UFC talk, but at this point, Tony and Khabib just have to fight on site the next time they are in the same building. Forget cutting weight or training camp. Basically treat it like they both have the Money in the Bank briefcase from WWE. Oh, I would be giving you 10 shots right now. It's funny. If you know what the Money in the Bank briefcase is, that's funny stuff right there.
That would be super sick. Fighting on site. Who gives a shit?
Exactly. That'd be great.
I'm ready. Just no dollies through tour buses.
Yes. Sneaker stuff, Dal. What do you have for sneakers? Which stories do you have?
I'd like to. Yeah, for sure. I'd like to give some insight on a pair of shoes that are still available, and that there was a code. I don't think it's still available for like 10 or 15 or 20% off. But dude, it's my first go at this model, and I really like this colorway. I think it's a fire colorway, but I was able to pick up the new Yeezy 380 model, and man, do I have some reviews for it. I have some sizing advice. Because I've never had this, and I've had every Yeezy known to man from, I didn't have the Turtle Doves, but I had the Moon Rocks, sold those obviously for good money, but had just about every Yeezy. And I think my assessments of sizing are pretty fair with this one. So I'm excited to kind of talk about this one. So let me grab this. So as you see here, you got the sizing tag, Yeezy Boost 380. I did go with the size 10, which is interesting, right? My true to size is always 10 with Yeezys. Let me be clear on this. With Yeezy 350 V2s, I always buy a half size up. So I go from 10 to 10 and a half, and I always take the insole out. And I've got 2 reasons for that. The toe boxes are super narrow, in my opinion. That's why I go the half up. And also, when you take that insole out, your foot is lying right on top of the boost. So for me, it's more comfortable. For people who like the insoles, I get that as well. But a half size up, you have to do. Some people even go full size up. That being said, 380 is totally different to me. The Mist 380, and I'm sure the Alien is the same way. It's usually with the darker prime knit that are not as stretchy or maybe a little bit tighter, in my opinion. That goes from Yeezys to Ultra Boost anything. With these, the 380 model, what I will say is I did go my true to size, and I do take out the insole like I always have in my 350 V2s. I can't tell you, there is no Yeezy, in my opinion, right now that is more comfortable than a 380 going true to size and taking the insole out. I have never felt more comfortable than this one that I have in my hands. Now, is the Mist the coolest colorway that they'll probably drop? No, I think the Alien colorway is super dope that they came up with. I think it's awesome. And now with this comfort, I'm gonna have to go buy that colorway because I think that colorway is absolutely fire and it blows the Mist away. But I don't think the Mists are that bad. As a matter of fact, if you're, pretty good at freaking shoes with like an outfit, like you are, franchise, dude, I think you could pull this shoe off super well. It's got a lot of browns, it's got grays, it's got almost a lavender in there in the toe box right here. It looks gray on camera, but it's almost like a gray lavender. But with your browns and your whites and very neutral, your neutral laces there, damn, I think color wise, this is really easy to match a lot of things. And the comfort on this is unbelievable. I'll say it again, true to size, take out the insole. The comfort on this is absolutely insane. I am super happy with this colorway. I'm super happy that it bricked. I'm super happy that people are getting these motherfuckers under retail, because if you get this under retail, this is a badass shoe. And this for comfort might be my greatest pickup, at least in the last year. And I'm just speaking from comfort. So super happy to try a 380, super happy. I've been wearing it for the last 2 days. Currently, I've got no shoes because it's quarantined out in the house.
Dallas, why are you showing your feet on cam? All you have to say is, I got no shoes on. I'm about to put. Why do we?
Sneaker Gill. I don't know what we're doing here.
I hope Sneaker Gill was watching for that. That was so unnecessary.
Hey, I hope that fool doesn't hit my DMs, because I don't need Sneaker Gill hit my DMs.
And I just clicked over to the chat really quickly, and of course I see the replay run back. I see your foot in my face right on the replay on the chat. I see it double time. I'm watching it live,
double time.
and then I catch it again. Unbelievable. But anyway, back to my question really quickly on those. What is the point? Why are you taking the insole out? Are you taking it out because they don't fit well? Why are you saying with the insole out, it's the most comfortable Yeezy? What's the point of with the insole out? You have to do that to make it more comfortable?
In my opinion, yeah. So what I said with the 350 V2, let me go back to that. So
you can't go half up. Sorry, you can't go
you probably could. You probably could, but remember, I've always done no insoles on all my Yeezys. I've never, like my 500s and my 350 V2s. I always go a half size up.
The toe box is tight on the V2s. These ones, is the toe box tight like that?
It is. It's not as tight as the 350 V2s.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You might be loose. Maybe a half up with the insole. No.
Well, maybe, but here's what I would say. Remember, I really like how the Yeezys feel where my foot is on top of the boost and not having the insole. So I like that feel.
Your foot's down deeper into the shoe. You feel a little bit more locked in.
You got it. And it's right on the boost. So to me, it's just more comfortable, and that's just the way I've always done it. So I probably wouldn't do true to size if you're going to rock the insole. I probably wouldn't, because I did try that just for giggles, and it is really reminiscent of the 350 V2 toe box when I have the insole. So for me, if I wanted to rock the insole, I'm probably going to go up the half, but this one fits me like fucking Cinderella with going true to size and taking the insole out. It fits me like Cinderella, and more than any Yeezy that I've ever bought in the past. So
yeah, we all got a little bit of that, Dal, with you showing your feet to the camera. The only thing missing was the glass slipper. I mean, could have just put it all in.
Hey,
Cinderella, Dal.
Hey, just trying to be transparent here. Not going to the doghouse with Robin. Not going to the doghouse with the Cass. You know what I mean? But I would recommend everybody rock a 380.
Oh no, go ahead, Dal. Sorry.
But yeah, no, just to end it with the 380, man, I would recommend everybody get it now, especially with a lot of colorways coming out. It sounds like they're doing new technology on their new 380 that is kind of, I forget what the name of it is, but it's got the multicolor in it. But it sounds like they're going to be doing a new lacing system called the Infinity Lace, where you don't have to tie it. It's basically your laces are locked out. So if you wanted to look that up, like just put Yeezy Infinity Lace. Kim Kardashian, I think, put it on her gram, kind of the next colorway of the 380. So they have a new lacing structure coming out here soon where you're not going to have to lace it at all. But I would recommend everybody try a 380, and especially since you can get them under retail now with this colorway, this is a hell of a colorway to start out with, in my opinion, under retail. And again, the most comfortable Yeezy to date, in my opinion.
Blake G said, Dal, you got to make him pay for the feet shots. Rook.
There's money to be made out here, man.
Yeah. Skinner says, sounds like Dal takes the insole out because of habit. Yeah, I think that's part of it. But again, I like the way my foot feels right on top of the boost. So call it habitual, call it what you like and what you're used to. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a part of it. But again, the 350 V2 half size up, insole out doesn't feel quite as good as this. I have a little room to play. So then I go true to size, take the insole out. The toe box is too narrow. So again, really trying everything I can do, I've done in the past. This 380, I took a chance going true to size, take the insole out. Like I said, it's the best fit that I have found of any Yeezy. So there you go.
Danny B, comfort is one thing. I'm not sure about the look. What do you think, TTF? I'm not a fan of the look. I don't really love the look. But again, I'm going to be fair. I haven't had it in my size yet to try to, like Dal said, style it up. It's very, very hard to tell from other people's picks, even other people's on feet, because you just never know how you're going to be able to style the shoe or whatever until you get it. So it's not something that I would ever pay resale for or any of that stuff. But now that we're talking about this going under retail, more colorways coming out, it's a shoe I'll take a chance on, see if it's something I like, but it's not something I'm going out of my way to get.
So check this out. So there's a pair of pants out right now. Now they're a little pricey, so I would wait to see if you can get a discount code. But I just got them in today, so I can't show them on the cast because I got them in the washer. The reason I have them in the washer is because they came from New York, and I'm not trying to have the Rona on my pants and transferred to me. So I got them in the washer because heat kills Rona. So I can't show you. But what I can show you is, how does that come up on the camera? Can you guys see?
It's not bad. We can see
looks
it.
Looks like Jalal's pants.
You got to talk again though, because it's gonna switch.
Yeah, so it does. So this is a pair of pants that I just actually bought. Now, if I go over here, I don't know if you can kind of see the price. They're a little pricey. They retail at $120. They're from Pleasures, and they're called the Brick Tech Track Pant. And I'll tell you, if you went to Packer shoe website,
you said they're from Pleasures. Wait, run that back.
Yeah, Pleasures, which is they make all kinds of streetwear.
Pleasures.
So where I found this pair of pants was
that's like the porn shop that's local. You're not mixing that up. It's called Pleasures.
It is. It's Pleasures, the company Pleasures. Yeah, they are the same name, but they're two different things. So,
all right, I was making sure it's not a Dallasm, but I'm making sure I have it correct.
It's.
I tried to go. I typed that in my browser later on. All of a sudden, some shit pops up. My lady's like, "What's going on?"
All I can tell you is dang, bro. That's all I can tell you. Dang, bro. But so where I found these pants, and you guys can all go to it right now, but it's packershoes.com or whatever Packers shoe website is. Their on feet of the Yeezy Mist 380 are in these pants, and it is the best fit that I've seen with pants to date for the 380 model. And it was so good that I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to freak this 380? How am I going to do this? I think denim looks pretty cool. Just incredible. He rocks his aliens with this cool denim from American Eagle all the time. And it looks pretty good. I even gave him compliments, I think, on the last cast. But I'm like, shit, man, I can't find denim that I like, and I'm a cheap ass. So I don't want to spend $120 on a pair of denim. But I paid $120 for these, because if you go to Packer's website and see the on feet for the 380, you can just type in Packer and type in the Yeezy Mist 380. Dude, the fit pick of these pants and those shoes is mildly incredible. Like, super sick. So I would encourage anybody, if you're questioning your fit, whatever, man, get these pants, get the mists, and throw a white t-shirt with a dope design on it. Man, you've got the fit of a lifetime, if you ask me.
See, this is perfect. This brings me to my next point, Dallas, which you pointed out to me. So I'm gonna give you some credit on that. But this is exactly why this is not a shoe I would ever jump out the window for, and probably a shoe that I wouldn't even care to own in my collection, because I do not want to have to buy a specific pair of pants to be able to make the shoe look good, and especially $120 pair of pants to make the shoe look good. That's just not my style. I've always been about, if I can make something look good that's on a budget, that's cheap, I don't care. I don't need Gucci. I don't need high end. And I just want to be able to do the most for the least. If I have a couple, this shirt goes with 4 pairs of shoes, it makes sense for me. I kind of eliminate, you're killing, the more birds I can kill with less stones, that's what I'm trying to do. That makes sense.
Sure. You know what? I get that perspective, and I appreciate it. I think that's a great perspective, dude, especially in times like this. I think that's the best perspective to have. But not everybody is as creative as you. As we're doing the cast, as we're doing this social media stuff, like, dude, I look up to you and Jalal all the time, and I'm chasing my tail constantly in my mind saying, fuck, I'm not really good at this. Man, this is a struggle for me. I just need to go back to a corporate structure because I'm not artsy. I can't put all this shit together. So for these idiots out there like me, this is a perfect solution. Now, you have to have money. You have to be able to do this. But like somebody who can't really tap into that creativity and who's super transparent and doesn't mind giving away, his like stupid ideals, because in what we're going through right now, that's pretty stupid to go buy a $120 pair of pants. But that takes the ease out of it. I don't have to try to plan. I don't have to work for it in terms of like my fit. I don't have to try to freak this stuff from H&M and this stuff from Forever 21 and whatever all these other kind of cheaper companies are that you can really put something together. Dude, it takes all the smarts out of it and allows you to just fucking throw it on and go and still look sick. And that's my perspective. And I'm glad we're different, because you can offer a lot with yours. And for mine, I think mine makes a lot of sense as well. And it just takes the ease.
Takes the complications out of it.
Yeah, it takes the complications out of it. Like, it just makes all the sense in the world to me. Again, somebody who can't really tap into the creativity that he wants, and just like, fashion's never been a big thing to me anyways. And it never will be. But having 6 shoes and a nice hat will always be, right? So if I could avoid the hoodies and the pants and the denim, I'll never have the coolest shit. No doubt about that. But I'll always have the sickest shoes. And, I'm trying to make the fit right. And if I have to pay a little money here and there, I'll do it.
I think that's almost where you're summing it up there at the end, is kind of where we're agreeing. Like, it's just, we're able to pull it off in different ways, I guess. Oh yeah, that was what I was gonna say. This clip you told me to watch the new sneaker shopping with Lil Wayne this morning.
Yes.
And this piece stuck out to me because I think this is a good, I think a lot of people get into sneakers and they know why they got into sneakers. And I think a lot of us as people in the sneaker game, just the term sneakerhead is loosely thrown around. If you like sneakers, you're a sneakerhead all of a sudden. It's not really true. And a lot of people refer to me as a sneakerhead. I wouldn't really say I'm a sneakerhead. And I thought this part of what Lil Wayne said really resonated with me. And a fire truck just pulled out. Fire truck and 2 cops just pulled out in front of my crib.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely crazy. Not quarantine.
Babe, go do some investigation. See what's going on down there.
Yeah, see if they want some bread. Offer them some bread.
But check this clip out from Lil Wayne.
You said you're not a sneakerhead, but how do you know in the rhymes? Funeral, the intro, 2 straps like the on me, like the old Jacksons. That's not a sneakerhead thing. Yeah, but Space Jam Jordans, you're aware of like. I mean, I'm not a sneakerhead, but I'm fresh. Yeah, so I'm gonna know. But you know, sneakerheads like my man T. Shout out T. You know, he's gonna know. No, those don't come out to such and such. Oh no, those were the ones he wore in games such and such. And yeah, you don't remember when he had hit it. You'd be like, no, I don't remember. Exactly, and you're a big sports fan, but it's all about the sports, not the shoes. Exactly.
There you go. So the beginning part of that, where
I think it's sick.
It is you pointed that out to me, and you're right. It's totally me.
Yeah.
That's exactly that's who I am. That's why I got into sneakers. It was nothing to do with being a sneakerhead. It was nothing to do with loving basketball. It was nothing to do with loving Michael Jordan. I mean, I loved Michael Jordan as a player, but it wasn't like. It was all about outfits. It was all about fresh. It was all about, because that was the coolest, freshest sneaker to have. But it was always been about matching and freaking colorways and just being fresh, no matter what that was, you know. And it was. So I just really resonated with that statement, because that's what always mattered to me. And a lot of people get it. Like I said, we all get into sneakers for different reasons. You may get into sneakers because you love basketball. That just wasn't me. And I've always said that. I was never, a basketball shoe guy, or I got into sneakers because of basketball. It was all about outfits and a look,
Yeah.
And
see, for me, I was the total opposite. And that's why it resonated with me, with you. I was like, man, that's franchise. Like he loves sneakers. He appreciates them. He values them. He sees them as monetary value. He's even maybe somewhat of a collector. I don't think you know that going into it. And I don't think that's the intentions. I think it's more of like, yes, I have a collection because it's worth something and I can always move it if I have to, or I can trade up and I can use that as money and not take it out of my checking account and buy things. It's almost like barter, but so it is a form of currency. But for you, I've always thought, man, this guy, he pulls off some pretty cool outfits, and they're never like super high end. They're never like super cool, but it's like being able to take this and that and this and that. And it's like, man, you can make it work. And I've never been that way. I've been the guy who's like, oh dude, I remember when Jordan was playing against the Phoenix Suns, dude, in 1990, whatever. And I'm dude, when he broke out the playoff eights, dude, against Sir Charles, man, that was so sick. I had to have him right then and there. Like, you're never going to be that guy. You might remember a certain model from that time because like that part of basketball was important to you. And you're like, oh yeah, shoes. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that shoe. But it's not just like Lil Wayne says, he's like his homie T. He's like, man, I ain't like that T who tells me, he was wearing it this and that day and it came out and that dropped 6 years ago. I was a little bit more nerdy like that. And then you were always the guy who was like, dude, I don't know if that's going to look good. I got to see it in hand first. I got to see it on foot first. I was never that way. I was like, holy shit, that looks good in a picture. I think I need that, So it's these different perspectives that really kind of bring a balance. And, I can teach you a few things. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, dude, let me show you what to do with that. Let me show you how to lace that. I can't tell you how many sneakers you've laced for me. You know what I mean? And it's just because you have that eye and kind of know what works. And that's a cool value.
Well, that's just, like I said, that's just the reason I got in the game. Like, look at John King in the chat. I was only into shoes because of sports. You didn't want to not look dope on the court. See?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't play basketball at a serious level. So for me, it was all about football. And I had that in football, but it was all Dion. I'm wearing the headband around my neck, Nike logo. I'm wearing you know what I mean? I'm doing what Dion was doing. Bo Jackson was doing. I'm looking up to those guys. So for me, it was different as far as court because I didn't play basketball on that level. But dude, really quickly, if you guys didn't check that out, I thought the Lil Wayne sneaker shopping was really good. Were you surprised at the segment when he talked about the deal with Supra and what Supra wanted to do with him and why they didn't continue that partnership? Because my Supra collection, I used to have a very ill Supra collection, and RIP, it got lost in the fire. Those were up in the attic. And but dude, I had probably every Lil Wayne Supra Skytop, dude. All the colors that he was rocking, I had them all. And that was that was a very interesting part of the conversation. Go ahead and break that down, Dal. What happened with Wayne and them?
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, Lil Wayne, they started talking about Supra. Joe was like, "Yo, man, what's up with this Supra?" And he's like, so Lil Wayne's like, "Oh, I'll tell you the deal." He's like, "For me, Supras were cool and I liked them, but Supra wanted him to rock Supras, but they wanted him to rock, like, not rock, but they wanted him to be the face of this model that was like not skatable. Lil Wayne's always been into skating. Like, he's actually a decent skater. He's not great by any means, but he likes to skate, and he came up with his Truck Fit brand, and he loves to be a part of the culture. And like I said, he's no slouch, but he's not the greatest skater. But Supra wanted him to kind of be the face of this model that was really not skatable. And he's like, "Yo, I'm a skater. Like, that's what I do. And this model does not fit that." And they're like, "That's cool. That's cool. We just want you to be the face of it." And he's like, they were ready to drop the bag on him. Like, Lil Wayne was going to be the face of Supra. Like, fuck Chad Muska, who obviously is still and has always been the face and has his own models, with Supra. But they were going to throw the bag at Lil Wayne. And he's like, "Yo, I wouldn't do that. That's not me. I can't do that because I'm a skater. That's not a skate shoe." He's like, "So we just couldn't come to terms. It didn't work out." So then
did you see the
back.
Yeezy? They tried to give him a shoe that was compared to the Yeezy. They were like, basically, they wanted to pit me as Lil Wayne against Kanye and what he was doing at Nike at the time.
Right.
And so he was trying to, I know. What's going on down there, babe? Something's getting crazy. Do you know what's going on? Dude, something's crazy's going on outside of my house, Dallas. I'm sorry, bro. There's like 5
Super
fire
loud.
trucks, police. Is it involving the people across the hall or no? I know. I heard like yelling. Could you guys hear that on the cast? Babe, get out of the shot.
We can't hear anything.
I couldn't hear anything, though.
All right. Well, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to distract my whole crib. I thought this place was going up in flames. It was 5
It doesn't look
trucks.
like a fire, though, is there?
I'm not sure at this point. And I've taken the batteries out of every smoke detector in this place. So what did you say?
Somebody got the run over there.
The Rona. Yeah, but anyway, they wanted to make Lil Wayne the Supra they came out with. Watch that sneaker shop, and they show a picture of it. It's like the Lil Wayne Supra Chimera, I think it's called. And it looks very similar. It looks like the Yeezy, the Nike Air Yeezy 2. The solar colorway.
Yeezy 2, yep.
Yep, the solar colorway.
What would have happened if they actually went through with that? That would have been like the worst, probably one of the worst things for Lil Wayne's career.
Oh my gosh.
To go up against Nike era Kanye.
Yeah, that would have been
the
absolute worst.
With a Supra. No
I
way.
know.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it sounds like Lil Wayne made it clear. He's like, "Look, man, I don't know what he said but it was a respect thing." He's like, "No, I couldn't do that to Kanye," kind of thing. And I don't remember exactly how he said it, but he's just like, "Yo, I couldn't do that. We just couldn't come to terms, And that takes some balls, man, because Lil Wayne, obviously he was getting checks from shit. I remember when he was wearing Reeboks, dude, with the whole crew back in the day, like coming from Louisiana that he came from, like he called it Uptown. And he says, "Yo, man, you could be wearing Dior, Gucci, Fendi from top to bottom, but if you didn't have a pair of Reeboks, it didn't work." He's like, Reeboks were it. That was it. So, I mean, you had people throwing money right and left, but the respect that I had for him and saying, "Nah, man, I can't do that. I'm a skater and I'm not going to disrespect, and I can't do that. I can't be the face of that." Like, what that did for his image and what that did for respect, like, it was really good, dude. A lot of these mumble rappers that have been on sneaker shopping, you can't really tell what they're saying. You almost need captions on, if you ask me. And maybe that's just, me being me, but Lil Wayne, he spoke really well. I was really impressed. He was very honest. It seemed like him and Joe had a conversation they were both into. Nothing was being rushed. I thought it was probably one of the best sneaker shopping I've seen in a long time.
Let's wrap up the sneaker stuff. There's a couple things I want to close on really quickly. I got into kicks because I could never have the newest of the new when I was a kid. So now I just bless myself, not to flex, just to be grateful to be in the position to take all the L's on sneakers and pay resale. Taylor.
I can relate to that for sure. My parents wouldn't buy me a lot of the stuff. Instead of Jordans, I got the Barclays. Instead of the, whoever
those Shaqs were hitting.
Yeah, the Shaqs,
$20
the David
Shaqs.
Robinsons, Yeah, remember the David Robinsons? The Starburys. Nobody had those. Get out of
here. He also said, TTF Turbo Green ones worth resale or not? I just looked those up. I did not know those shits are over 300 now. Have you seen that?
Yeah, 330 on my side.
The one that Jalal got?
Turbo greens, though.
Yeah, like the vintage faded ones.
The faded ones, the sandpaper joints. Yes.
Yeah, these right here.
Those are definitely worth the money. I love that shoe.
The sandpaper joints are tight.
Me too,
I wish
dude.
I wish I would have never given that up.
You gave these up? What do you mean gave them up?
I gave those up. I mean, I sold them for. I sold them on Goat for resale, but yeah, I miss them. I wish I would have never sold them.
Yeah, they come with a set of purple laces as well, which is kind of crazy because the Nike Air on the tongue is like purple and yellow. But dude, these are gonna age so sick. I can already see mine kind of aging around the top, like the tongue is kind of deconstructed on there, so you can see them aging around there. They're so fresh, dude.
That's a summer shoe all day. I mean, hopefully we get to break those out this summer so we can get outside. Nice. But beautiful shoe.
Yeah,
and
dude,
Brett said,
I think they're worth resale, bro.
And Brett says, Wayne's not a mumble rapper. I know, but I'm saying the mumble rappers that have been on sneaker shopping, it's hard to understand. The conversation doesn't flow very well. I'm saying Lil Wayne's sneaker shopping was way better because what we've seen is mumble rappers. Lil Wayne's not a mumble rapper. Let me be clear.
Right. Philly Mayor, TTF, do you see the black and green Jordan 1 Zoom highs coming this summer with the green suede? What do you think? I think they look pretty cool. I have seen those. I'm undecided on it. But you know what? To be fair, I was undecided on the Zoom highs, the other Zoom highs. And shout out to my man, Thomas Yee, for blessing the kid and coming through. He used me for retail. He got exclusive access on Saturday. I think it was Saturday when a bunch of different stuff dropped. So we should have those. I should have those in the next couple of days. So Philly Mayor said he just got his in. Super fire.
Yeah, they're called the Air Jordan 1 High Zoom Rage Green. And I think they're cool. The suede looks like a little bit longer hair suede on them. The leather on the toe cap. You can't tell by pictures if it's really going to be nice. It looks pretty glossy in the picture, but I think that gray Nike swoosh is dope. The Zoom Air on the tongue is dope. The green lace tips. I think it's going to be a sick shoe. So
it just
I can't
screams
wait to see
Halloween to me. Screams Halloween. Screams like ghouls and goblins type shit to me.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Let's hit this really quickly before we get out of here. The Tiger King, Dallas. Did you finish that?
Yes.
Did you guys watch the whole series?
I need to watch one. I need to watch the last series. And we were going to do it last night, but Robin and I had a little argument and she didn't want to watch TV with me after last night. So we have one left to finish. And even though we fixed the argument, she didn't want to watch TV with me after that. So I'm one behind from finishing it. But holy shit, this show is wild. But did you hear the latest? Carol Baskin. So her husband that she talked about how nobody knows where he's at and if he just mysteriously disappeared. It sounds like this Netflix documentary has got police detectives looking back into that case of what happened to Carol Baskin's husband. Yes. I just read that today.
They're like trying to dig up some old evidence. The
Netflix series has brought it back to life, and now they're kind of looking back into it.
Dude, I think the theory is correct. I think Jalal, did you watch this or no? Are you even up on this?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
I feel bad. I'm kind of ruining.
No,
it's only 3 episodes in is what I'm talking about. And it's a 7-episode series. So, I mean, there's a tons of twists and turns to it, but dude, Carol Baskin, I think the theory about her putting homeboy, killing him and putting him in the grinder and feeding him to the tigers. I think that's true. I think that is a very dude. That lady seems evil, bro. Something about her.
She does.
She seems
like vindictive. Vindictive is the word.
Right. Yes. Like not trustworthy, very overly like so wanting to play the hero role, wanting to be nice. What did you think of the fact that she's playing this Big Cat Rescue? She owns this company called Big Cat Rescue, and their job is to rescue the tigers from people like Joe Exotic and people like Doc Antle and these people that are supposedly abusing these tigers. And she takes them, she cages them up, she charges people to come in and see them. She takes workers, women and men that come to work there that want to be around the tigers. She pays them a stupid low wage, just like Joe Exotic and the other people do. And they work 12-hour days. What are we talking about here?
No vacations, like they can't go anywhere for holidays, nothing.
Dude, I don't understand that. And I thought the documentary did a very good job of showing both sides of everything. You know, really showing both sides of the whole thing. The Tiger, are you planning on watching it, Jalal? Are you just did you not get swept up in the mania? Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to take.
Yeah, I don't know. I might watch it. Sorry, I had to plug my charger in. So
it's good.
My
it's all
voice
good.
might sound a little different.
Sounds like you're in the bathroom. You couldn't hold it.
It's off the speaker. I don't know. But I don't know. I might watch it. I just got so many other things to watch that are ahead of that for sure.
That's right. Anachoff. I lied. She doesn't pay them at all. They're all volunteers. That's right. And they get different color shirts. Remember? They can upgrade their shirts.
Yeah.
By the level of their shirts is how they become like a different. Oh, first of all, you're just an apprentice, and then you move up to a senior apprentice. Then you move up to it's like all
yellow,
this pyramid
shirt,
scheme bullshit.
Shirt. Yeah. It's so weird.
And dude, and it's the exact same kind of cult-like status that she is accusing Joe Exotic and Doc Antle and these other people of having around these big cats. And I would argue, from what I saw in the documentary, Jalal, mute your thing. I don't know why it's cutting out. It's like clipping a little bit. There you go. Dude, would you?
Right there.
No, you're good. In the thing, I would argue that the tigers are probably being treated better by Doc Antle's staff and Joe Exotic's staff. Not necessarily Joe Exotic himself, especially when he got the ego trip and started trying to get a little fame and all this shit. He wasn't treating the animals very well at all. But I was talking, me and my lady were talking about that the other night. Dude, the guy that was the head zookeeper at the Joe Exotic spot, that guy had real remorse. He felt really sad for those animals. He did everything he could to take care of those animals. He was in that meat truck at the end when the whole thing was going under, trying to give them anything he could to feed them. When he was talking at the end, you could tell the remorse was real. He was very sad in his heart for those animals. You could tell that guy he's like, it was my job to protect them and I let him down, and he was crying and he was sad, dude. And it wasn't his fault. That was a guy that was a good guy that had gotten the job there. And like he said a couple times in the documentary, thank God I was here to take care of those animals when Joe started having that ego trip and going all this stuff, because he was there for them, dude. He made sure they got everything that they needed.
Yeah.
And they were treated well there. They were treated well. Not well, but I mean, as good as you can. They were babies. They were raised up in that environment. They didn't know anything else. They weren't abused.
Yeah. I started getting an interesting take on Doc Antle. Like I started feeling really weird, like, because he was really about, obviously, just like Joe was, these young tigers, when they're in their infancy, right? Because they're not as dangerous. I think it was like, was it 12 months? It was like somewhere between 8 and 12 months. I think after that certain point, they can be really dangerous and you got to really watch out. So you have to they were talking about how they really had to capitalize when these tigers were super, super young, getting people taking selfies with them and all that stuff, that really made them a lot of money. Well, when they went to Doc, somebody said something, and I think it was one of the chicks that had worked for him that obviously no longer does, that got the boob job, that whole thing where she's got her dog in the house and she's talking about kind of some of her memories. I think she made me kind of think, she spun it in a way where all of a sudden I was like, I wonder what Doc's doing with these older tigers. Like, is he killing them? Is he like just making them disappear when they're no good to him anymore, when they're not making any money? Like, I kind of got this weird feeling. I didn't get that with Joe, but I got that with Doc. What do you think about that?
Yeah, dude, I went back and forth. Like, I got weird vibes from both of them at all times. Certain times I got like a vibe like, I try to see the good in people. I try to see the good side. And then obviously you get vibes. You're like, that's a little bit weird. And that's a little bit. So I went back and forth the entire time. And the end result, the conclusion I came to in my mind, everyone in the show is just crazy and a piece of shit.
For
like
sure.
It just is,
For
they're
sure.
they're all a little bit nuts. They're all insane, and they're all a little bit weird. They're just weirdos. You know what I mean? Whatever you constitute weirdo is, that's what it is, dude. They're all a little bit selfish in what they're trying to do to feed their own fetish for these big cats, right? They all have that in common. They're all trying to blame while covering up whatever they're doing on their own side, and they're trying to point blame at someone else. They're all doing that. And then they're all kind of running a similar setup. It's all a very similar thing. So that's kind of the conclusion I drew from it. You guys are all the exact same. Yeah. You're all trying to, it's the pot calling the kettle black. You're all trying to blame each other for different things, and you're all the exact same. You're all the exact same in your own way.
Yeah, no doubt. What did you think about when Joe obviously had not one but two husbands, when he asked the young kid, and he's like, when you're watching porn, do you like to watch, the little one, or you like to watch the big one? And the kid says, well, I like watching the bigger one. And he's like, well, then you're gay.
Yeah, I know. Dude, such weird logic. All right, cool.
Then you're gay.
And
then all of a sudden they're getting married. Yeah, then the three of them are getting married.
Dude, that was
there's so many weird quirks, man, that keep. Yeah,
they're all three up there together in the pink shirts, like just weird.
Yeah,
bro.
looking tight, looking right.
Dude,
there's Jalal. What it comes down to is there's so many things that like grab your attention, and you're just like, what the hell? And after the first episode is really kind of this, entry level, like, hey, here's everybody, and that's cool, but it's not like super interesting. Episode 2 and on, it's just a shit storm. and you can't not watch.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts. Anatroff said, aside from the girl that got her arm bit off, she was a G. Yeah, I wasn't talking about the workers as far as they're all insane. I wasn't saying that. I was just saying the three main, Doc Antle, Carol Baskin, and Joe Exotic are all insane, is what I was saying. The workers, I think some of the workers were just caught in a rough spot. Some of the workers, well, as far as Joe Exotic goes, his team, they just needed a place to go, and it was a whole crew of misfits. It was the misfits that had nowhere else to go. And it doesn't mean they're bad people. It doesn't mean they're, can't do the job or can't love or can't whatever, care for the animals or anything. It just means that society has told them that. It means society has turned them away. They're just misfits. They just don't fit in with the in crowd, and they just kind of stick out. They're the kids that were made fun of, the kids that were bullied. Maybe they were poor. Maybe they had 3 teeth. Maybe they didn't have good style. Maybe they couldn't shower and their hygiene was bad. All that stuff gets you picked on at a young age. Well, some of that stuff may be your fault. Some of that stuff may be your family's fault. If your mom tells you brush your teeth 5 times a day and you only brush your teeth once a day, it's your fault. I'm not sure that these kids, that was their thing. I think they just came from broken homes or bad places, or they were down on their luck. Maybe they had been involved in drugs, whatever the case may be. Joe Exotic would take them in. He wouldn't pay them. He would pay them a low wage, which they weren't getting paid shit before anyway. So they'd be paid $138 a week or some shit, and they'd work on the farm with the animals. You know?
Yeah.
So that was kind of how it went down.
Obviously a lot of risk doing that, but you know, when it comes to paying somebody pretty cheap and to do some pretty crazy work. And you know, the interesting thing is a lot of these people were just, you know, down on their luck. There were people that were transients and, you know, homeless and, you know, drug abuse pasts or whatever. They didn't get too much into that, but you know, one can assume. But they just had trouble pasts. And, you know, Joe kind of flocked to them and said, look, you know, I can help you and you can help me. And it made sense from a business standpoint, but there's a lot of risk involved with that because you're taking on somebody that, you know, has a troubled past in theory. And it's like, well, but Joe somehow figured it out. And I don't know if it's the whole animal thing because, you know, just like you, franchise, you were never a dog guy, but now that you have a dog, there's a vibe and you're really starting to enjoy that. And maybe that's with these big cats, people build these special relationships and it's unlike anything else because you're like facilitating a wild beast. And maybe that offers you some sort of power and some sort of identity for these people that had these troubled pasts that got them somehow to lock in and be a great worker for Joe. It's just interesting.
That other guy was a piece of shit too. What was that guy's name that came in and took Joe's farm from him?
Oh shit. I can't, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name though.
Something Lowe. Now I want to say Rob Lowe, but it's obviously not Rob Lowe.
What was his name?
It's not Joe Lowe. Because it's Joe Exotic.
Jeff Lowe.
Thank you.
Jeff Lowe.
Jeff Lowe. Yeah, that guy. He's also a piece of shit.
Dude, and he's also planning on opening a new zoo in Oklahoma later this year.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
He found another partner that would do all the work, and he wouldn't have to do anything. He could just put his name on it. That's what it seemed like. Oh, with all his partnerships, he was always when he was like, "Yeah, I try to do all these partnerships, and they always fail." And it's just like you looked at the guy and you were like, "Yeah," because you never want to do any of the work.
Right.
You want to bring people in as partners and make them do all the work.
You want
to be able to show up and be like, hey, it's done. Hey, let me put my name on this.
Right.
And everyone that works with you after a period of time is like, they think you're, you know, solid guy at the beginning. And then you're a real piece of shit because you don't do any of the work, Jeff. So that's why your businesses aren't working. I'm over here yelling at the TV the other night. Jesus.
Nice.
Exact same thing. I'm like, geez, Jeff, how do you not see that?
Yeah.
Let's finish with this, Dal. Super Size Me 2. Did you watch that after you saw my tweet?
I watched it before, actually.
Oh, you did? I didn't even know it was. I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah, I was just scrolling. Remember, I've been watching a lot of documentaries, mockumentaries, and just somehow came across that. And I'm like, what the fuck? This guy his first one was like 10 or 15 years ago.
You're right. That's exactly what I thought.
And all
Morgan Spurlock is his name.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell? Well, so I watched it. And then you tweeted the next day because I had watched it the night before. And oh man, dude, Morgan Spurlock does an incredible job of spinning both sides. Like I was absolutely amazed. Like the transparency of him calling, like, how do I get chickens? How can I get chickens? Where do I start? And then showing obviously the big corporations and dropping an invite to his new chicken shop that he just was going to open, you know, how he got up there past security. Like the lady says, how'd you get up here? He is so good at spinning both sides, like one of the best. And I was really impressed by the documentary. I really was.
Someone said in the chat, I liked Super High Me. I just looked that up. It came out in 2008. I haven't even seen that one. He said, I liked Super High Me. It got me to use a volcano, or got me to start using a volcano and a chop. I don't even know what a volcano is, and I don't know what Super High Me is either. But dude, I totally agree with you. Great job on Super Size Me 2 of showing both sides. But dude, going all the way to become a chicken farmer?
I know.
That's crazy. That was like, here's two things I was very impressed with the Joe Exotic doc and the Super Size Me. He went so far as to be a chicken farmer, to buy his own chickens, to get his own setup, to see what the chickens actually go through, to see how the process is all done, so he could sell that exact thing at the restaurant. He could tell you exactly what you were eating, exactly what you were getting. And he went through all that pain on that side to be able to showcase that. Same thing in Joe Exotic. Did you realize towards the end, towards episode 5, 6, 7, I'm like, oh my God, Travis has now died. He's married. He's met Joe, married him, and died in this whole process. How long did this crew follow Joe Exotic and this whole thing? This had to have been over a 5-year period or more.
I think it was more. Yeah.
Dude, Travis was like 20 or 19 when he met him, or 20. And then when he killed himself, he was like 24. So that was, I just thought both of them really put in the work to make honest documentaries and show all sides and because it wasn't, I mean, you weren't just getting a snippet into the Joe Exotic life, and you weren't just getting into a snippet into Morgan Spurlock's deal. He went out and became a chicken farmer and did all this extra stuff to try to show everything that was really going on. So I enjoyed that. Check those out, man. Obviously you guys are probably up on Tiger King, but Super Size Me 2, check that out. I watched it on Apple TV, and it was free have you heard of the app Tubi TV? It's like TUBI.
No, I haven't.
There's 2 TV apps that are free for your there's a bunch of streaming apps, but on if you have an Apple TV, you can download Tubi. It's TUBI, and it's just a streaming app that has tons of free movies on there. So I was looking for a different movie that was on there that I already knew was on there, and this came up, and I was like, let me check this out. And so I just stumbled across it. But Tubi, and then Pluto TV is the other one. Pluto TV is like an actual TV service. It's free, and you can it has just live TV on it. So pretty cool.
That's dope.
Yeah. So if you guys are using Apple TV. All right, fellas. I think that's where we'll leave it, man. 2:10. Gee whiz. Do you guys have anything more that you want to hit on before we jet out?
No, I think we're good. Just want to shout out to Dallas for just continuing to bring stuff in for us to look out during the sneaker segment. He's kind of showed up with something almost every week. So shout out to you, man, keeping us going during this time. I know you're spending a lot of money. So.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. Like, I don't really want to sell. I don't know if you guys have all heard real quick. I guess we'll end it on this. Because of that, I think I'll still be buying, because eventually I have a little money where I can still hold on to things. I don't have to get rid of things. As you see, I still have the Cinders sitting right here on the left side, your right side, my left side. So I'll eventually get rid of them. But GOAT and StockX are having so much delay right now in authenticating pairs, in giving people their money. Some people are saying that they had shoes sitting at a warehouse waiting for authentication and payouts for upwards of 4 to 5 days. So processes have obviously, gotten a little bit longer and more involved from them shutting, obviously, the Culver City warehouse down. So if you are thinking about, sending anything, selling anything right now to GOAT or StockX, know that payouts are going to take a little longer. There's quite a wait to get things authenticated. UPS and FedEx are going to, eventually be delayed here as this virus picks up even more steam than it already has. So just be aware of that. Be patient. Know that if you're sending, any type of email to either one of those companies, it's like pulling teeth to get a response back in a short amount of time. So the buying and selling experience has obviously changed quite a bit with these 2 companies based off the virus. So good luck. It's probably not a bad thing to stop buying for a little bit if you don't have to, or be prepared to maybe hold some stuff and, wait for some of this to go, to obviously succeed. And, like a black pair of Yeezy Cinders, I don't think it's a bad thing to hold those. Black Yeezys do very, very well. So as we get through this coronavirus, that's not a bad shoe to hold on to and sell a little bit later. So just be aware of that. StockX, GOAT, the processing times are unbelievable and almost unbearable. So just a little PSA, I guess.
They've been downplaying a little bit as far as what I'm seeing on social media. They're all saying, effects of the virus has been minimal and there's not really many delays. I've just been seeing them and stuff. Yeah,
that's a lie.
A lot.
Yeah. Well, and they're sending emails too. Goat just sent a mass email to everybody, I think yesterday or the day before, stating, hey, coronavirus, we're aware, we're still doing our best, that kind of thing. But, right now, dude, again, it's a tough spot. So if you need money now, just know with Goat and StockX, you're going to be waiting a little bit. So FYI.
Neighborhood, I guess we don't know about spoiler alerts. Haha. It's okay though. Are you referring to the Tiger documentary or Super Size Me 2? If you're referring to Super Size Me 2, we didn't spoil anything. All we said is he becomes a chicken farmer. He opens a restaurant. That's just the premise of it. There's so much that goes on along the way. And when he opens the restaurant, how he opens it, what he goes about it, you'll see. We definitely didn't spoil it. As far as Tiger King, we pretty much spoiled the shit out of it. But I mean, I just thought you were up on it. I mean, the world was up on it and you have no job. There's nothing going on.
Yeah. If you've been on social media, they spoiled it before we did. Let's be real.
I apologize for that. Oh, he was talking about Tiger King. Come on, neighborhood. Oh, he said homeboy dying. My bad, neighborhood.
Oh, Travis. Yeah, Travis dying.
Well, I didn't. Like I said, it's been out forever. It's what are they? How long are the episodes? 45 minutes or something?
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember.
Between 45 and an hour per ep, 7 eps. I mean, we come on, you could have banged out. Come on. I mean, come on. I mean, I was on this thing. Let me think. I watched episode 1 after before the show last time, right? And I got through the rest of the 6 episodes by the time we came around. And there was a weekend going on.
We spoiled it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Somebody was looking for a t-shirt update. You guys want to just give them a quick update on that?
Gotcha. Yeah. So right now, all the Dang Bros, it sounds like are printed, but our printer, his office, he's not at his office. So he's at home in quarantine because he may or may not be sick, but he's at quarantine right now. So we're, as soon as we can get those Dang Bro shirts from his office, which is like damn near almost an hour from where I'm at. But I'll drive up there and grab him as soon as I can, as soon as he's back in his office. And with the Sports Hype Life shirts, the screen is done. That's all ready to go. They are ready to be printed. The one thing that we still have to get is we have to make sure to get all the shirt sizes and make sure that we're good there. But again, our printer, his office is closed. So Jalal does have another contact that we may reach out to just to kind of, get some expectations, see what's going on. But that's kind of where we're at. So Dang Bros, they're ready. We just need to ship those as soon as we can get into his print shop, and the Sports Hype Life has a little bit of a delay. So if anybody needs, anything, just DM us, send us an email to the most underrated podcast at Gmail. Hit me up in the DMs. I'd love to answer any questions. It's an awkward time for us, for you, for everyone. We're doing our best, but please reach out to us and, we'll give you at the moment updates.
Neighborhood.
Yep, I got my shipping stuff. So as soon as we can get them in our hands, I'll get them to you guys. I have my printer here and we'll start getting those out to you guys ASAP.
There you go. Neighborhood, I apologize. I forgot you were building your house too. So obviously that's taking a ton of time and precedent over the Tiger King. Now I really feel bad for spoiling it. Armando, Sneakers app releasing outlet shoes on April 1st. Is that true or is that April Fool's joke? You guys want some outlet shoes? What do you think what do you think those red Jordan 3s are going for?
Who wants outlet shoes? Unless it is the Unite joints. I'd take those under retail.
What do you think those are going for?
Well, so I saw them go for $150 off of Dick's Sporting Goods. There was a promo code, I think, like 2.5 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Dick's Sporting Goods, I had them in my cart for $150, and then I got cart jacked because I was for $150. I'll have a second.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll sit on that pair. I think it's a great pair. So the lowest I've seen those at $150. Will they be $150 at outlets? Probably not. I think probably $179, $180 or $170 is what I see those at the outlet if they go to the outlet.
Good shit. All right, fools. Let's get out of here. We'll be in here talking all day. Go ahead.
No, good.
Yeah, I don't have anything more.
Yeah. I just say stay safe, fools. Make sure to hit that like button on the way out if you can. Don't have random conversations with the UPS driver if you can avoid it. And yeah, stay safe out there.
Yeah, everybody stay safe out there, man. If you guys are still working, that sucks. That's the company's got you working. If you're able to not work and get paid, you're balling. If you're able to not work because you got your job cut off, so you're not working and you're not getting paid, welcome to the club. I'm just playing. Other than that, fools, I love you guys, and thanks for sliding through. Thanks to everybody in the chat. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
Peace.
Later.